minutes.
demonologist.
It's just horrible.
Lineaments, he wrote, drawn from
There we
some
go.
obscure supernatural manifestation of the souls of those who vexed and gnawed the dead. Seizing the green jade object, we gave a last glance at the bleached and cavern-eye face of its owner, and closed up the grave as we found it. As we hastened from that abhorrent spot, the stolen amulet in St. John's pocket,
Health and less damage from
we thought
beasts.
we
That's
saw the bats descend
almost
in a body
something.
to the earth we had
Also,
so
does
lately
that go
rifled,
together with,
as
like,
if seeking
do
for
those
some curse
15%
and
actually go
unholy
together with the
nourishment.
35 from this?
But the autumn moon shone weak and pale, and we could not be sure.
I would think so, right? They
So,
stack up additively.
Too, as we sailed the next day away from Holland to our home,
But yeah, like we are in
we
the
thought
land of
we heard
horrors
the
here,
faint, distant baying
in the underworld.
of some
So I'm
gigantic
actually,
hound in the background.
I'm
But the
actually
autumn
saying, you
wind
know what?
moaned sad
We're
and
gonna
warm,
listen to some
and we could
Lovecraftian
not be
horror.
sure.
That seems like
Less than a week after our return to England,
the best thing I
strange
can do right now,
things
right?
began to happen.
To make this as interesting as possible.
We lived as recluses,
Hopefully I
devoid
don't
of
die to the
friends,
horrors.
alone, and without servants.
But yeah, like
in a
basically
few
we are in
rooms of an
old
ancient
Zirconian
manor house
ruins.
on a bleak
So,
and unfrequented moor, so that our doors
by the way,
were
those are not the
seldom
only
disturbed
Zirconian
by
ruins.
the knock of the visitor.
It's kind of weird.
Now, however, we were troubled by what
But
seemed to
normally,
be
I would
frequent
think,
fumblings in the night,
If this game wasn't what it is,
not only around
this
the
would actually be
doors,
kind of spooky.
but around the windows also.
Like there's undead
upper.
here, there's,
as
you know,
well as
all of
lower.
those beastly horrors.
Once we
And then
fancied
there's
that a
the
large, opaque body
three witches
darkened
that
the
actually,
library
you know,
window when the moon was shining
are
against
basically pretty spooky by themselves.
it. And another time, we thought we heard a
Like, I mean, they are
whirring
basically,
or flapping sound not far off. On each occasion, investigation
they're basically like
revealed nothing,
the
and we began to ascribe
Hansel
the
and Gretel
occurrences to
witch,
imagination
kind
alone.
of.
That same curiously disturbed imagination, which still prolonged in our ears the faint, far bang we
Hopefully
thought
I'm
we
not
had
gonna get
heard
stuck
in the
somewhere here.
hollow churchyard. The jade amulet now reposed in a niche in our
Because
museum.
normally that is a huge issue
and
that you're
sometimes
constantly
we
getting
burned
stuck
strangely
around in these
scented
ruins.
candles before it.
But it's fine. We are gonna
We
get it
read
done.
much in Al-Hazred's Necronomicon about
Like
its
until the
properties,
tower,
and
which I
about
said
the
like I
relation
made
of
out to be the
ghouls'
end point today,
souls
when
to
we
the
are actually
objects
reaching the
it
tower.
symbolized,
Before that,
and were disturbed by what we
there's
read.
not too many that I'm, too
Then
many things that I'm worried about in
terror
this.
came.
So
On
I
the
would
night
have
of
thought that we
September
could go up here.
24th, I heard a knock at my chamber door. Fancying it St. John's, I bade the knocker enter, but was answered only
Knocker enter, that
by a
is...
shrill laugh.
Those formulations, dude, I can't come up with
There was
those.
no one in the corridor.
As much as I understand
When
in
I
English
aroused
language,
St.
but
John from his sleep,
I cannot
he
replicate that.
professed entire ignorance of the event, and became as worried
Then again,
as I.
Can I replicate,
It
you
was
know,
that night
old German
the faint,
texts?
distant
really either.
baying over the moor
So I
became
probably
to us
shouldn't
a
feel too bad
certain
about it.
and dreaded reality. 4 days later, whilst we were both in the hidden museum, there came a low, cautious scratching at the single door which led to the secret library staircase. Our alarm was now divided,
Oh,
for besides our
fuck.
fear of the unknown,
I really shouldn't have gone
we
down
had
here.
always entertained a dread that our
Like that,
grisly
you're constantly
collection
getting
might be
stuck, and this is
discovered.
one of those prime places to actually get stuck by.
Extinguishing all lights, we proceeded to the door and threw it suddenly open. Whereupon we felt
But
an
it seems this
unaccountable
iteration
rush
it
of
is
air,
fine. For once.
and heard as if receding far away
Okay.
a queer combination of rustling,
Yeah,
teetering,
I'm
and
fine here. That's good
articulate
enough.
chatter. Whether we were mad
We're first gonna get
dreaming,
her, and then
or in our senses,
we're gonna see about the dude.
we did not try. to
Actually, I'm not
determine.
quite sure. Do I even have to see the dude?
We
I don't
only
really.
realized with the blackest of apprehensions that the apparent disembodied chatter was beyond a doubt.
One good thing,
Dutch
which
language.
actually exists before, and Maybe that
After
is the
that,
big difference why I'm
we
doing so
lived
little
in
damage
growing
now.
horror
Just those
and
6
fascination.
resistances.
Mostly,
Because I was
we held
already
to the
beforehand
theory that
tapping
we were
everything.
jointly going mad from our life of
Maybe the Monkey
unnatural
King's trickery
excitements.
was the big difference there.
But sometimes it pleased us more to dramatize ourselves as the victims of some creeping and appalling doom. Bizarre manifestations were too frequent to count. Our lonely house was seemingly alive with the presence of some malign being whose nature
I mean, I'm still
we
not
could
dying even with
guess.
all of those projectiles
And
fired,
every
so...
night,
I mean,
a
I'm also
demonic
kiting, but
baying rolled over the windswept
it's
moor,
good enough.
always
I
loud
would have actually thought it would be worse,
and loud.
just going by...
On October 29th, we found in the soft earth underneath the library
But that it was
window
such a
a
huge
series of
thing for me.
footprints utterly impossible to describe.
Wait,
They
who's
were as
taking my
baffling as the
mana?
hordes of great bats
Oh,
which
or my
hung
energy.
the old manor house in unprecedented and
Deck?
increasing numbers. The horror reached a
But yeah, you can see I'm
culmination
just
on
doing
November
no
18th,
damage to those guys. It's
when St. John,
so horrible.
walking home after dark from the distant railway station, was seized by
Okay,
some
see, now it
frightful
actually starts
carnivorous
kicking in.
thing and torn to ribbons.
Don't worry,
His screams had
it's
reached the
fine.
house, and I had hastened
will
to the
eventually
terrible
get
scene
them.
in time to hear a whir
Okay.
of wings.
Yeah, I totally
and see a
saved you.
vague
There's
eagle
only
cloud of
3,000 more around the corner.
silhouetted against the rising
But don't
moon.
worry, I saved you.
My friend was dying.
At least if
when
I get a
spoke
good
to him,
item out of this, come on.
and he could not answer.
Oh,
coherently.
we also have to look something up about
All
the
he could
Knot of
do
Isis.
was to whisper, "The amulet."
Thank you, kind hero. But my
That
brother is
damn
around. Save my
thing.
brother.
Totally, I'm gonna save your brother.
Then he collapsed. in
he's such a
inert
good boy.
mass of mangled flesh. I buried him the next midnight in one of our neglected gardens, and mumbled over his body one of the devilish rituals he had loved in life. And as I pronounced the last demonic sentence, I heard afar on the moor
Maybe this?
the faint baying of some gigantic hound. The moon was up,
Maybe this would help me
but I
against the
dared
undead.
not look at it.
I'm not quite sure.
And when I saw on the dim lit
Nah,
moor
there's better ones
a
to find
wide
anyways.
nebulous shadow sweeping from mound to
You
mound,
can't carry anymore.
I shut my eyes and threw myself face down upon the ground. When I arose trembling, I know not how much later, I staggered into the house and made shocking obeisances before the enshrined amulet of green jade, being now afraid to live alone in the ancient house on the moor.
As I would.
I departed on the following day for London,
As you should as well.
taking with me the amulet after destroying by fire and burial the rest of the impious collection in the museum. But after 3 nights, I heard the baying again, and before a week was over, felt strange eyes upon me whenever it was dark. One evening, as I strolled on Victoria Embankment for some needed air, I saw a black shape obscure one of the reflections of the lamps in the water. A wind stronger than the night wind rushed by, and I knew that what had befallen St. John must soon befall me.
You can almost tell,
The next
because this
day,
is Lovecraft, that
I
it's a
carefully
black
wrapped the green
figure.
jade amulet
Not
and
so much
sailed
by
for Holland,
it being dark, but more
with the
actually
mercy
black
of my
figure.
dream by returning the thing to its silent, sleeping owner I knew not. But I felt that I must at least try any step conceivably logical.
Now
What the hand
that...
was, and why it pursued me, were questions still vague. But I had first heard the baying in that ancient churchyard,
this is not
and
bad.
every subsequent event, including
But like I said,
St.
the
John's
10
dying
to
whisper,
15%,
had served to
total
connect
damage,
the curse with
I
the
would,
stealing of the amulet.
I would substitute for
Accordingly, I
23%
sank
health.
into the
But I mean, that
nethermost
can also be
abysses of
lower. Like, it
despair
can be higher as well, but it
when,
could also be
at an
17%
inn
health or
in
whatever.
Rotterdam, I discovered that thieves had despoiled me of the sole means of salvation. The bane was loud that evening.
It's still really good though.
And
Like,
in
you
the
know,
morning,
health, total damage,
I read
poison
of a nameless
resistance.
deed in
It's
the
actually really
vilest
nice.
quarter of the city. The rabble
Okay,
were
what
in
I wanted
terror,
to look up though.
for upon an evil tenement had fallen a red death beyond the foulest previous crime of the neighborhood. In a squalid thieves' den, an entire family had been torn to shreds by an unknown thing,
So
which
this
left no
needs...
trace.
Well, we've got the embodiment.
and those around had heard all night.
We've got two.
above the
Okay, nice.
usual
So
clamor
we can
of
even use that
drunken
one.
voices,
Because this
faint,
400 health is not bad,
deep,
but yeah, we could use this
insistent
one.
note as of a gigantic hound.
So basically free and the Hand of
So at
Gaia
last,
and the
I stood
Druidic
again in
Grief.
that unwholesome churchyard,
Druidic
where
Grief,
a
maybe?
pale
Yes.
winter moon
Okay, so we do
cast
have
hideous
that.
shadows,
And for that we need
and
Leaf
leafless
Song and
trees
Crystal
drooped
Tear.
sullenly to meet the withered, frosty
Okay,
grass
first,
and
what about
cracking
the
slab.
Hand of Gaia?
And the ivied church pointed a jeering finger at the unfriendly sky, and the night wind howled maniacally from over frozen swamps and frigid seas.
Nope. Ah,
The bane
Of
was
course not.
very faint now,
well,
and it
I mean,
ceased
it would have been
altogether
too good
as
to
I
be true.
approached the ancient
Like I said, this
grave
one is
I had
actually
once
really...
violated,
I would
and frightened away
probably
an
just equip
abnormally
this
large
flat
horde of
out.
bats which had been hovering curiously around it.
still. I don't know if activated on low health
I
is,
went thither,
you know, not
unless
the
to
same
pray,
as Death Ward.
or gibber out some insane pleas and apologies
That they
to the
both
calm
trigger
white
at
thing that lay
15%.
within.
But yeah, with this one, Crystal Tear and
But
Leaf
whatever
Song, I
my
don't have
reason,
any of those.
I attacked the half-frozen sod with a desperation partly mine, and partly that of dominating will outside myself.
Book of Dreams, I can get rid of that, and then we can
Excavation
put
was
in
much
those.
easier than I expected.
Nexus of Insanity
though
I
at one
already
point
have.
I encountered a queer interruption, when a lean vulture darted down out of the cold sky, and pecked frantically at the grave earth until I killed him with a blow of my
I have
spade.
2 Blood Gems. Two
Finally,
Dragon Tongues.
I
Dragon
reached
Tongues
the
are actually
rotting,
used for something.
oblong box and
2
removed
Eyes
the
of
damp
Heaven.
nitrous cover.
2 Soul
This is the
Prisms.
last rational act I ever performed.
I would
Or
think so.
crouched
And a
within
Razor
that
Claw.
century
Yeah.
coffin,
Skyfire Pendant we also need for
embraced by a
something.
close-packed nightmare
And Touch of the Fool
retinue
we definitely need
of
for
huge,
something. Okay.
sinewy sleeping bats. Was the bony thing my friend
Next
and I
one.
had
Sanity,
wrought.
Razor Claw, Book of Dreams. Okay.
Not clean and placid as we had seen it then, but covered with caked blood, and shreds of alien
Also,
flesh
so,
and hair, and leering
the Book of Dreams are
sentiently
actually
at me with
relatively high.
phosphorescent sockets,
I'm not
and
quite
sharp
sure why.
and sanguine fangs, yawning
I guess
twistedly
sleep
and
duration and
mentally
extra
at
physical
my
resistance.
inevitable doom.
And this one
And
is the
when it
lowest
gave
one. This
from
one is
those
a
grinning
lesser
jaws,
artifact. This
a
one is a
deep,
greater artifact, but this
sardonic
one
bay
is
as
also a
of
lesser
some
artifact.
gigantic hound.
And the in between with
And I saw what
15k,
it
and
held
this one
in its
30k.
gory, filthy claw,
If I then actually
the
looked up
lost and fateful amulet of green jade.
the Knot of Isis, which is the
I
first divine one.
And
That
ran
one is
away
100k.
idiotically. My
So there should be
screams
50k
seemed
as well
dissolving
somewhere.
into peals of hysterical laughter.
Wait, what are you laughing about?
Madness rides the star wind. Claws and teeth sharpened on centuries of corpses. Dripping death astride a bacchanal of bats from night-black ruins of buried temples of Belial. Now, as the baying of that dead, fleshless monstrosity grows louder and louder, and the stealthy whirring and flapping
I wonder if this will be taken out
wings
in the
circles
algorithm.
closer.
Because I
and
mean, it is
closer.
a reading.
I shall seek with my revolver the oblivion
Normally
which
it
is
should
my
be filtered
only
out.
refuge from the unnamed and unnameable.
Well, but not in the name of me, I hope. I don't want nothing to do with it, because I'm already having too many problems with this here. Like, I'm really wondering if maybe the Monkey King's trickery was not the reason that I actually did damage beforehand, because now it is so little damage. Well, one after another. Like, it doesn't even help much if I actually get resistance against undead. Okay, now this idiot. Like I said, we are actually
I am writing this under
slowly,
appreciable mental
ever so
strain,
slowly gonna
since
take out
by
stuff.
tonight I shall be no more. Penniless and at the end
Probably
of my supply
best
of
to
the
take
drug
out the
which
soul
alone
siphons.
makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer.
And make it so that they
I shall
can't
cast
actually
myself
spawn new
from
ones.
this garret window into the squalid street below.
But I can't say this one is
Do not
the
think
biggest
from my
danger.
slavery to morphine that I am an
It
equal
really is
or
just a side
defender.
quest.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you
Okay,
may
so if
guess they'll
nothing
never
else,
fully realize
I will
what it is
actually,
that I must have
with my energy
forgetfulness
drain, get
or
mana
death.
from them. Or take mana away from them.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim
Ow,
to the German
ow,
sea raid.
ow, ow,
The
ow.
Great War was then at its very beginning.
Wait, that's the best you
and
can do.
Russian
Okay,
forces at the time had
175.
completely sunk to their later degradation.
And I'm probably
so that
gonna
our
block some
vessels
damage
made
in
a
between. Or
legitimate
dodge.
prize,
My god.
whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration.
I mean, it's a
due
war of
us as
attrition, but
prisoners.
I do think I have
So
the better
liberal
chances here.
was the discipline of our captors that 5 days after we were taken,
Well, that's
I managed to
action-packed.
escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time. When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had
Am I lucky that he did not feast on me?
Never
that
a
I do have this
competent
life
navigator,
resistance.
I could only guess vaguely by the sun and
My
stars
god,
that
it
I
would
was
be so horrible.
somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing,
Save
and
my
no island or
I will
coastline
not
was in
save
sight.
him at all.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted
He will
days
mysteriously
I lived aimlessly
vanish.
beneath the scorching sun.
Do they have anything
waiting
special
either
on
for
them?
some
I don't
passing
think so.
ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
You should normally,
But
you know,
neither
always
ship
kill all
nor
of the
land
monsters. Also, by
appeared,
the way,
and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept.
I am part of the scenery
Its
now.
details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
So let's take that off.
When at last I awaked,
Whee!
it was to discover myself half sucked into a
I'm
slimy expanse
invisible.
of hellish black mire, which extended about me in
So
monotonous
stupid.
undulations as far as I could see.
I don't know
and
why
in
you
which
can
my
get through
boat
here, because
lay
obviously you
grounded some
can't.
distance away.
You can't go this way.
Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in
It
reality
really
more
reminds me so. Like
horrified
it
than
is
astonished.
so
There
brilliant.
was in the air
in
and in the
VTMB,
rotting soil,
The readings.
a
Like
sinister
I'm
quality
very
which
much planning
chilled
on
me to the
actually
very core.
making a VTMV
The
run,
region was
Deathless as
putrid
well,
with the carcasses of decaying fish
to
and
get
other
some
less
challenge for
describable
myself.
things,
Not
just
quite sure about
protruding from the nasty mud
Bloodless.
of the unending
That
plain.
I'm not quite sure about, but yeah,
Perhaps I should
a
not
Deathless
hope to
run
convey in mere words the unutterable
of VTMB,
hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
and we are
There was
gonna
nothing
listen to
in hearing and nothing
Grout's
in sight,
Mansions
save a vast reach of black
recordings
slime,
again, because they
the
are literally
incompleteness,
absolutely in the same
stillness,
vein.
and homogeneity
And
of
I
the
love that
landscape.
kind of horror. I
oppressed me
told so
with
yesterday on the
nauseating
stream that kind of psychological
The
horror.
sun was blazing down
same
from a
in,
sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless
Same in
cruelty,
the old
as
Dracula
though reflecting an
readings.
inky
That
marsh
was
beneath my
ah,
feet. As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
so good.
Through some unprecedented
Okay, so
volcanic
Calixena we have
A
already
portion of the ocean
done
floor
yesterday.
was
I'm not
thrown
even
to
quite
the
sure. So I've
surface, exposing regions
oh
which
yeah,
for
so I've walked
innumerable
all the way
millions of
from
years
here,
had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
and then we found my booty,
So great was the
on
extent of the new
one of the
that was
progress.
underneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging
Oh, I missed
ocean
again. No,
strain my
and then he
ears
blocked.
unawed. Nor
Oh,
were there
God.
any seafowl to prey upon.
It's gonna
the
be so
dead
bad.
For several hours I sat thinking or
He
brooding.
can still do
in
his
the
spin
boat,
attack, so I'm
which lay
guessing that
upon
is
its
literally
side
just a normal
with slight
animation
shade as the sun moved
and not a
across the
special
heavens.
attack.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, And the next day, I made for myself a pack containing food and water.
I mean, like I said, Lionheart is kind of useful.
Rescue.
With this one, you
the
do
third
get
morning,
defensive
I found a
ability,
solid
you
line
do
of
get
walkable
50% total
leaves.
damage and
odor
50%
of
attack speed
fish
and all
was
of that
magical,
armor.
But I was
It
too
will
concerned
actually
with
be
graver
pretty
things
nice
than my slight evil,
if you actually
and set
trigger
out
it,
boldly
but
for an unknown goal.
what is it, like 10
All day I forged steadily west.
10-second duration
guided by
on
a
120-second cooldown.
which rose higher than any other elevation in the rolling
Still,
desert.
the formulations on
That night I encamped, and on the following day
that are
still
so
traveled
bad.
toward the hunt, though that object seems scarcely nearer
I'm
than
almost
when I
certain that
first
there's
spied it.
some way to actually break it.
By the fourth
Like
evening,
some
I
way that
attained
you
the
can
base
actually
of the
get
mountain,
recharge from
which
it.
turned out to be much higher than it appeared from a distance. An
They are
intervening
missing me.
valley setting it out in sharper
Interesting.
relief in the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Okay, let's go see
I
his...
know not why my dreams
see
were
her
so
brother.
wild that night.
He
But
should be
ere
up
the
here.
waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
It is so nice.
Visions
Oh, hey
as I
there.
had
How are you doing, man?
experienced too much
Can I...
to endure again. And in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel
Can
by
I
day.
talk with you? Can you come over
Without
here
the
and
glare
I
of
can
the
talk with you?
parching
Yes,
sun, my
nice.
journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
I like how
I
like
have
the
said
information changes.
unbroken
Like
mountain
otherwise
of
it's
the
just his
rolling
greed that
plain
led them
was
both
also
in
very
there and
cold.
almost got them both killed if I
But I
wasn't
think
around.
my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down on the other side.
It doesn't do
into an
anything.
immeasurable pit of canyon,
It doesn't do
whose black
anything whether you
recesses
find her first or
alone
him
had not yet
first.
soared high enough to elude
But it
me.
changes the complete context of
I
it.
felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost,
And hopefully a
of
little
Satan's
wiser
hideous
for the
crimes
adventures.
to the
It's
unfashioned
literally
realms
the
of
same.
darkness.
Wealth of the
As the moon
Ancient
climbed
Kings,
higher
though.
in the sky, I began to
Blah blah blah. The
slopes
last
of the
these
valley were
Zirconian
not
Kings,
quite
size
so
possessions, blah
perpendicular
blah.
as I'd imagined. Ledges and outcroppings
I
of rock
would
bordered fairly easy
really like
footholds
it
for the descent.
if
Whilst
when
after a
you
drop of a
actually
few
trigger them
hundred
at
feet, the declivity
you know,
became very
the
gradual.
right way, that you trigger him first
Urged
and
on
he
by an
tells you
impulse
about the
which I
treasures,
cannot
and then
definitely
you know that
analyze, I
he
scrambled with
you should save
difficulty
him
down the rocks
and maybe his
stood on
sister
the
as well.
gentler slope beneath,
That then the sister
gazing into the
tells
stygian
you
depths
about
when
the
the light
Zirconian
had
ruins.
penetrated.
Because this way
All
he
at
doesn't,
once, my
and you
attention
just
was
go like,
captured
yeah, I'm
by a
gonna look
vast
for the
and
ruins now.
singular object
It makes no
on the
sense.
opposite slope,
It would be much
which
better
rose
if you actually
steeply
then
about
find him
100 yards
first
ahead of me.
and then save
An
the
object
sister.
that gleamed
Like you
white
actually have to go
in
out
the
of your way to
bestowed
save
rays
the
of
sister,
ascending moon.
but then the sister tells you
That it
about
was
the
merely
ruins.
a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself. But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work
At
of
least we are
nature.
still conscious.
A closer
And yeah, I'm
scrutiny filled
definitely
me
gonna
with
farm for a
sensations
better
I
folk.
cannot
I don't
express.
think there's
For
right
despite
now
its enormous magnitude and
a
its
better
position
weapon that
in
I
the
would
abyss
want
beyond
to
the
get
bottom
with
of the
what I
sea
have
since the
here.
world was young.
Like everything else that I would
perceived beyond the strange
farm for
object
is just
was a well-shaped monster.
gimmick weapons.
Its massive bulk
The focus
ignored
actually
workmanship and perhaps
is actually useful for the
of
survival
living,
aspect of
thinking
this build.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the
Still, I doubt
scientist's
that I'll get
archaeologist's
one that
delight.
is this good.
I
But
examined my
you
surroundings
know,
more
maybe
closely.
we're gonna get
The
something with
moon,
offensive
now near the
ability.
zenith, shone weirdly
That would be
and
really
brilliantly
nice.
above the tower and steep
Like I said, offensive
canyon
ability I'm
chasm,
definitely gonna
and
struggle
revealed
for.
the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom.
I'm not quite sure
winding
what
out
this
of
buff
sight in
is,
both
because,
directions,
like, I
and
mean, it's
almost lapping my feet
kind of a
as I stood on the
regrowth
slope.
buff, the way it looks, but
Across
it's
the
also an
chasm,
attack buff,
wavelets washed the base of the
and I'm not quite sure what it
sarcophagus
adds. Like,
on
they're a
whose
little bit
surface I could
faster,
now
I
trace
guess.
both some inscriptions and crude sculptures. The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I had ever seen in books, consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as
It
fishes,
sucks
eels,
so much.
octopi, crustaceans,
I hate it.
mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things, which are unknown to the
Do we
modern
actually
world because
have to do this?
imposing forms
I
are
mean, this is
observed
2 more
in
points then,
oceans
so
and plains.
9 instead of 3, so I would do 6 more damage.
They did most to hold me spellbound.
That's not gonna do much.
Plainly
But if I
visible
take
across
this
the
one, we would
intervening
at
water
least...
on account of their enormous size,
Let's,
were an array
let's
of
put in one more
bas-reliefs
point.
whose subjects would have
And at
excited
least
envy
I'm
of
doing a little bit
Dore.
more damage. Just
I
so that
think
it's not
these
that
things
annoying.
were supposed to depict men. At least a
That's
certain
probably
sort
the
of
most
men.
bullshit
Though the
point I'm
creatures were
spending in
shown
this game
to
so
swim
far.
like fishes in the waters between the
But I
land
mean,
and
I
water,
can take that one
or
out.
hang
It's not
hot,
like an attribute
but some
points
monolithic
in
shrine
the
to prove to be under waves
mastery.
as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond imagination, of a Poe or a Bulger.
Or could
They're
I with
damn
the
of a
Spirit
human
Bane?
general outline,
Actually,
despite webbed feet and hands,
no. Okay,
shockingly
so the Spirit
wide
Bane
and
is not
flabby lips, glassy,
not for
bulging
that.
eyes, and other features less
This one is
pleasant to
costing me
recall.
energy now, though. So now my energy is actually
Curiously
going
enough,
down.
They seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion to their size background. For one of the creatures
So
was seen in
stupid.
the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself. I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange
First,
size.
gonna get
but
rid
in
of
a
these
moment
Spirit
decided that
Siphons.
they remembered the imaginary gods
I'm
of
not
some
quite
primitive
sure what the
fisher
Spirit
seafaring
Siphons do
tribe.
either.
Some tribe whose last
Also,
descent
where are they going?
perished errors before the first ancestor
What the?
of the Piltdown Neanderthal man was born.
Can you stop ignoring me?
Awestruck
That's-
at this unexpected glimpse
That's the
into
worst insult
past
when the
beyond
monsters are actually
conception.
ignoring
One
you.
daring anthropologist. I stood musing.
It should not be like that.
whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent
Okay,
channel
he's
of
coming
fire.
back. Good, good,
Then
good.
I saw it.
Thank you very much for
With
coming
only
back
a
for me.
slight
I
churn
thought
to mark its rise to the
you would
surface,
be
the thing
absolutely
slid into view
disrespecting me.
above the dark waters. Vast.
Oh, hopefully I
Polyphemus-like,
can find.
lonesome. It
No,
darted like
well,
a
Shrine of
stupendous
Mastery is not
monster
horrible.
of nightmares to the mind,
I would have said
about
battle
which it
marker,
flung
but
its
Shrine of
gigantic
Mastery is
scary
actually
arms,
like because
while it
now
bowed its hideous head and gave
what
vent to
happens?
certain measured sounds.
maybe I should
I
then
think I went
also
mad then.
do the quest first. But now what happens is
Of my
I
frantic
do have
ascent up the slope and
50%
cliff,
more damage to them.
and my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I
Okay,
remember little.
so
I believe
let's
I sang
run
a
around
great
here.
deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing. I had indistinct recollections of a great storm.
I do have
sometime
both of
after
them,
I
so
reached the
don't
boat.
worry about. Ooh,
At any rate, I know that I heard
Well, that's a
peals of
dude.
thunder and other tones which
I'm
nature utters
actually
only
really
in
afraid of
louder
this.
tones.
don't get me
When I
wrong.
came out of
Maybe
the
I'm gonna
shower,
come back
I
for
was
it.
in San Francisco hospital, brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Or maybe
In my
I'm just gonna do
delirium,
it
I
now.
said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
He does have a
Of any
stun,
land
but
up
it's
to
not
the
that horrible.
Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist
And
upon
there
it,
goes my
since
mastery.
I knew they could not
God
believe
damn it. But
Once
it's
I
fine.
sought out
Don't
a
worry about it.
celebrated ethnologist and amused him with
We are
trivial
actually not taking
questions
any damage.
regarding the ancient Philistine legend
Why am I
of
not
David,
taking any damage?
the fish god, but soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional.
Okay, he doesn't
I
have
did not
anything
press my
anyways.
inquiries.
Perfect.
It is at night,
Why is
especially
everything
when
so
the moon
useless
is
in this
gibbous
game?
and moon, that I see the thing. I
Okay.
tried morphine,
Wait. Oh.
but the drug is given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Wait one
So
more
now I
minute.
am
Wait,
getting
where do I have to go?
Having written a full account of the information of the contemptuous
What?
amusement of my
Hey.
fellow men. Often I ask
The fuck?
myself if it could not all have been
I've
a
never
pure
gotten
phantasm,
lost in a tomb,
a mere freak of fever as I lay
so I hope
sunstruck
I'm not.
and raving in the open
this time,
boat
yeah.
after my escape from the German man of war.
Let's get my energy back.
This I ask myself, but
Let's
ever
take
does there
his.
come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of a deep sea.
Oh, wait,
without
wait,
shuddering
did I
at the
not-
nameless things that may
Did I not get the
every
lever?
moment be crawling and floundering.
I was
in
sure I
its
had
bed,
pressed the lever.
worshipping their ancient stone idols
heck?
and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows.
I
dragged
dream of
down
the
in
day
their
that I
reeking
can open
talons,
doors
the
without
remnants
issues.
of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink.
This is
The
like,
dark
what is
ocean
it,
portion send
room
its universal pandemonium.
184?
The end is near. I hear a noise.
It's just my own personal hell.
Some immense slippery
Being
body
stuck in an
lumbering
ARPG
against
with
it.
monsters that I can't
Shall
beat.
not find me. God, that hand.
Never getting anywhere.
The window.
No, we can't even reduce resistances anymore. But no, this is worth it. You just watch. This is worth it. This quest, I'm literally doing this quest mostly for, finishing all of the quests, but it will be worth it. You will see the items we are gonna get. They're gonna be grand. Well, there's not the introduction to King Doros. I could also just run in here. Maybe we're just gonna let King Doros live and
On July 16,
not care.
1923, I moved into Exham Priory after the last workman had finished his labors. The restoration had been a stupendous task, for little had remained of the deserted pile but a shell-like ruin. Yet, because it had been the seat of my ancestors, I let no expense deter me.
More
The
seed.
place had not been
I
inhabited
can't
since the reign of James I.
Take any energy from
And
him.
when a tragedy of intensely hideous,
can
though
I?
largely unexplained nature had struck
I
down
mean,
the
I can
master,
drain energy
5
from
of his
him.
children, and several servants, and driven
Also, I
forth
don't
under
want to
a
use my
cloud of
outsider yet because I have
suspicion
no
and
idea
terror
how much
the
of an
third son,
asshole fight
my lineal
the
progenitor,
three are.
and the only survivor
So,
of the Apoid line. With this sole
I mean,
heir
I'm gonna
denounced
get
as a
him down.
murderer,
It's not,
the estate had
it's
reverted to
not
the
that
crown,
big of a worry.
nor had the accused man made any attempt to exculpate himself or regain his property. Shaken by some horror greater than that of any conscience or the law, and expressing only
With
a
time.
frantic wish to exclude
Maybe,
the
I mean, I don't
ancient
know if
heritage from his
energy
sight and
drain
memory.
actually goes together with
Walter de la
energy
Poer,
taken, that
11th Baron
I'm
exile,
doing damage
fled to Virginia,
based on energy
and there
taken.
founded the
I
family,
think that is
which
then
by the
only
next
an attack
century
skill.
had become known as de la Poer.
Okay.
Exham Priory had remained untenanted. though
Okay,
later
you're gonna
allotted
see.
to the
This is
estate
totally
of
worth
the
it.
Norris family, and much
Well, for one,
studied because of
100k
its
experience,
peculiarly
but also,
composite architecture, and
just you
architecture
look
involving
at
Gothic
all
towers
of the
resting
goodies
on
that
a
I'm gonna
Saxon
get out of
or
this.
Romanesque substructure, whose foundation, in turn, was of a still earlier order or blend of orders, Roman and even Druidic or native Sumeric, if legend be truly. This foundation was a very singular thing, being merged on one side with the solid limestone of the precipice, from whose brink the priory overlooked a desolate valley 3 miles west of the village of
well,
Manchester. Architects and antiquarians loved to examine the strange relic of forgotten centuries, but the country folk hated it. They had hated it
Goddamn, that
hundreds
sucks.
of years before, when my ancestors
Next time we're
lived
gonna
there,
find the brother
and they
again.
hated it now,
First, and then
with
go
the
to the
moss
sister.
and mold of abandonment on it.
Maybe that's the
I
case.
had not been a day in Manchester before I knew I came of an accursed house. And this week, workmen have blown
Everything
up
there is
Exham
an accursed
Priory
house.
and are busy obliterating
That's
the
why you don't
traces
step in
of
there.
its foundations. The bare
Everyone could
statistics
tell
of my
you.
ancestry I had always known, together with the fact
It's a
that
bad
my
place
first American
overall.
forebear had come to the
Okay,
colonies under a strange
hollowed
cloud.
mana.
Of details, however,
Okay, mana I
had
don't
been
need,
kept
but
wholly
hollowed.
ignorant through the policy of reticence,
I've yesterday
always
seen
maintained by the de la Poers.
a
Unlike our
better
planter
version of
neighbors,
hollowed. Oh,
we
okay, this
seldom
one.
boasted of crusading ancestors or other
I've
medieval and
yesterday
Renaissance
seen a
heroes,
better version of
nor
hollowed.
was any kind of tradition handed down except what may have been
Wait,
recorded
robust of
in
cloud.
the sealed
Oh, so
envelope
with
left
hail.
before the Civil War.
We just
by
found a
every
higher modifier
squire
for
to
it.
his eldest son for posthumanist opening. The glories we cherish were
With
those
plus,
achieved since the migration.
Oh
The
no,
glories of a proud and honorable, if
with
somewhat
+1 to all
reserved
skills
and unsocial
on top of a
Virginia
monster
line.
infrequent one.
During the
And
war,
that
our
one
fortunes were
was,
extinguished,
oh my god.
and our whole existence
Yeah, that is a
changed by
pretty
the
good
burning
find.
of Carfax, our
Because
home
it
on the
had,
banks of the
it was
James.
one of the
My grandfather, advanced in years, had perished in that incendiary outrage. And
one
with
of the
them envelope
Neanderthal
that bound us
monster
all to the
infrequents with
past.
minus
I
recharge
can
and
recall the
like
fire today as I saw it then,
minus
at the age of
cold
7,
and
with the
energy
federal
resist
soldiers
or
shouting, the women
something,
screaming, and the Negroes
something like
howling
that.
and
Some
praying.
of or another.
My father was in the army,
And then
defending
with the
Richmond,
hollowed.
and after many formalities,
So
my
you could
mother
actually
and I were
equip her, then
passed
on
through
top
the
of that
lines
the
to
+2.
join him. When the war ended, we all
From
moved north,
the
once my mother had come.
from the
And I
Erebus
grew
crystal,
to
like I said,
manhood,
if you can
middle-age,
find one, which is
ultimate wealth
I'm
as a
never gonna be
stolid
able to,
Yankee.
but if you're
Neither
really
my
lucky,
father nor I ever knew what
so then you have +3
heredity
to all
envelope
skills
had
and
contained.
-10
And as
recharge
I merged into the grayness of Massachusetts
and
business
resistances.
life, I lost all interest in the mysteries which evidently looked far
That's a
back
good
in my
find.
family tree. Had
Okay.
I suspected their nature, How gladly
Last
I
of
would
the
have left
Tzirconian ruins,
Exum Priory
maybe?
to its moss, bats, and cobwebs.
Can I get out of here?
My father died in 1904, but without any message to leave me, or to my only child, Alfred, a motherless boy of 10. It was this boy
So the
who
explosion
reversed
is
the order of
only from
family
the
information,
first
for
guy,
although
but
I
it
could
does
give him
spread to
only
other
jesting
ones
conjectures about the
around.
past. He wrote me of some very interesting ancestral legends when the late war took him to England in 1917 as an aviation officer.
Also, I had line of sight to
Apparently,
this,
the
even though I'm
Delacours
turned around.
had a colorful and perhaps sinister history. For a friend of my son's, Captain Edward Norris, of the Royal Flying Corps,
I thought why
dwelt near
there's
the family seat at Anchester, and related some
my
peasant
Tunicolor
superstitions which few
shining
novelists
through.
could equal for wildness
Okay,
and
let's do the 3.
incredibility. Norris himself, of course,
They
did
should
not take
not
them
be that much
seriously,
of a problem, I
but
hope.
they amused my son and made good material for his letters to me. It was this legendary
A hammer
which
with a
definitely
sword
turned my
hilt.
attention to my transatlantic
That's,
heritage,
you know,
made me resolve
and
to purchase
the
and restore the family
sword
seat,
itself
which Norris
hanging out.
showed to Alfred in its picturesque
Feels good, man.
position,
That is
and offered to get for him at a surprisingly
that's some
reasonable
really
figure,
solid weapon design.
since his own uncle was the present owner.
No, he actually
I bought
He actually
Exum
hit me with
Priory
that.
in 1918, but was
Why it is
almost
so good with that?
immediately distracted from my plans of restoration by the return of my son as a maimed invalid.
also, yeah,
During the 2
healing.
years that
I
he
would
lived,
actually need some
I thought
healing.
of nothing but his care, having
On
even
the soul
placed
drain.
my business under the direction of partners. In 1921, as I found myself bereaved and aimless, a retired manufacturer no longer young, I resolved to divert my remaining years with my new possession.
I wonder where this
Visiting
story is going,
Manchester
because
in
that is a
December, I was entertained
mighty
by
long
Captain
lead up.
Norris, a plump, amiable young
Is it
man
just a
who had
haunted
thought
house?
much of my son, and secured his assistance in gathering plans and anecdotes to guide in the coming restoration. Exum Priory itself I saw without emotion. A jumble of tottering
Not even
medieval
Junji
rooms
Ito is
covered
taking
with
that
lichen
much time
and honeycombed with rook's
with a
nests,
setup.
perched precariously upon a precipice and denuded
Okay,
of
something
floors
wicked
or
comes
other interior
around.
features save the stone walls of the separate towers. As I gradually recovered the image of
I
the edifice
wish
as it
I
had
could
been when
not
my
smell you
ancestors
guys.
left it over 3 centuries before, I began to hire workmen for the
Oh
reconstruction.
yeah, we are doing.
In every case,
We are
I
doing
was
very
forced
good
to go
damage.
outside the immediate locality.
And
where
as you can see,
Manchester
I'm not-
villagers had an almost
Like, as long as I don't stand in the
unbelievable
cloud,
fear and hatred of the
There's
place.
nothing that kills me.
This sentiment was so great that it was sometimes communicated to the outside laborers, causing numerous
And I can
desertions,
leech from them. I
whilst
did not
its
even look it
scope
up before.
appeared to include both
I
the
actually did
priory
not think
and its
we could.
ancient family.
But
My
okay.
son had told me that he was somewhat avoided during his visits because he was a Delacour, and I now found myself suddenly
Maybe if I can
ostracized for a like
Bait
reason,
out
until
the
I convinced
exactly
the
nice.
peasants
Okay,
how little I knew of my heritage.
that was very very
Even
nice.
then, they
We
solemnly
could bait
disliked
out
so that I had to collect most of the village traditions
the
through the
cloud
mediation
somewhere
of
else.
Norris.
Oh, what?
What the
Ah,
people could not
ran-
forgive, perhaps,
she ran
was
out
that
of
I
my
had
range.
come to restore a symbol so abhorrent to them, for rationally or
Okay,
not,
where are you
they
gonna
viewed
spawn it?
Exum Priory as nothing less
There
than a
you
haunt
go.
of fiends and werewolves.
You want to de-dino?
Piecing
You want to
together the
actually
tales which Norris collected for me,
look that up?
and supplementing
Okay.
them with the accounts
That
of
hit
several
all of them,
savants
right?
who had studied the runes.
I
deduced
don't
that Exum
need
Priory
my
stood on
outsider
the site
even.
of a prehistoric temple,
I'm
a
completely
druidic
fine
or
here.
anti-druidical thing, which must have
There
been
we go.
contemporary with Stone.
Well, I mean, you want to look
that
where the eye is,
indescribable
but
rites had been celebrated there.
Pamfredo
doubted.
is
And there were
not the usual
unpleasant
problem.
tales of the transference of these rites into the Sibyl worship, which the Romans had introduced.
Okay.
Inscriptions still visible in the
And
sub-cellar
then we're
bore
gonna go
such
to this, and then I also
letters
want to
as
take everything here,
VIV,
and
OPS,
now they're just all dying.
MAGNA,
Good.
MAT.
That
Sign
was
of the Magna
actually
Mater,
even easier than I
whose
thought
dark
it would be.
worship was once vainly forbidden.
I thought that at
to
least some
Roman
of their
citizens.
attacks are hurting me,
Manchester had been the camp of
but
the
that is
third
also then the
Augustine
reward that I
legion,
get for
as
it.
many remains attest. And it was
I
said
could
that
have
the
thought
temple
so.
of Sibyl was splendid and thronged with worshippers who performed nameless ceremonies at the bidding
Okay,
of a
let's go.
Phrygian priest. Tales added that the fall of the old religion did not end the orgies at the temple, but that the priests lived on in the new faith without real change. Likewise was it said that the rites did not vanish with the Roman power, and that
like I said,
certain
about
among the Saxons added to that
roundabout
remained of the
getting
temple,
to Elysium,
and
or
gave
at
it the
least,
essential outlines
you know,
it
to the
subsequently
tower.
preserved, making it
Should
the
be today's
center of a
goal.
cult
27
feared
intelligence,
through half the Hepburn.
which I would think is actually the highest
About
one, but
1000 AD, the place is
since
mentioned
there's
in the chronicle as
28%
being a
strength, I'm not so
substantial
sure
stone
if that is
priory,
true.
housing a
Still.
strange and powerful monastic order, and surrounded by extensive gardens, which needed no walls to exclude a frightened populace. It was never destroyed by the Danes, though after the Norman conquest, it must have declined tremendously, since there was no
Whatever,
impediment
I can
when
find it
Henry
somewhere
III granted the site to my
sometime else.
ancestor,
Not since
Gilbert
Perseus
de la
was a
Poer,
hero wrested
first
the eye
Baron
away
Exon
from the
in
weird sisters.
1261.
But you have
But
Of
I
my
also
family
killed them.
Before this date, there is no evil report.
What happens now with
Strange
fate
must have
that I've
happened
killed the
then.
3 sisters?
In one chronicle, there is a reference to a de la
Did I
Poer
just
as
Unbind
Curse
the
of
fate
God
for everyone?
in
Or do
1307.
they get
Whilst
reborn?
village legendary had
Does she
nothing
give
but
the eye
evil
back?
and frantic fear to
Does she
tell of the
become one
castle
of the
that
Grey
went
Sisters
up
now
off
that she has the eye?
foundations of the old temple and priory.
Did she
fireside
lose the
tales
eye?
were
Is
of the
the
most
eye going
grisly
into the
description.
illusion?
All the ghastlier because of
And
their
now it is
threatened
returning to them?
menaces and cloudy evasiveness. They represented my ancestors as a race of hereditary
Crossing
Danes,
Vortex there,
aside
that's
from
like the
Gilles
better
de
one that
Rais
I
and the Marquis de Sade,
from
would
the
seem
original one that I had.
various tyros.
I mean,
and hinted
it's damage. I
whispering
could actually use
at
it
the responsibility for the occasional disappearance
Is that the Primal
of
Chaos?
villagers through several generations.
if I can find a better version of that.
The worst characters, apparently, were the
Lionheart,
barons
like
and
said,
the
we
direct
already
heirs.
have that as well.
At least most was whispered
Then I
about
guess I'm
these.
just not using that at all.
If of healthier
I'm just gonna get my
inclinations,
inventory
it was
space.
said, An heir would early and mysteriously
We're
die
almost
to
at
make
50
way for
million,
another
so
more typical scion.
Now we should also
There
be
seemed to
able...
an inner cult of
Goodbye,
beings
tits.
presided over by the head of the house,
Yes,
and sometimes closed
I'll
except
go.
to a few members.
I'll go and do
The
your will.
temperament, rather
Do
than
your bidding,
ancestry, was
my
evidently
titties.
the basis of the cult, for it was entered by several who married into the family.
Oh my god, cost.
Lady Margaret Trevor from Cornwall,
As my chat
Knight's
disconnect.
daughter,
My
the second
fucking
son
lord.
of this baron, became a favorite
Every time.
bane of children all over the
Hey, Cost.
countryside, and the
Something
Damon
hearing on your
Harold of a
background.
particularly horrible
Talking
old
with a deep
ballad,
voice. That's
not
exactly
yet
it, yes.
extinct near the Welsh border. Preserved in ballad,
We are listening. Wait, is it too
illustrating the
quiet?
point is the hideous tale of Lady Mary de la Poer.
You
who
should
shortly
actually hear it
after her
just fine.
marriage to the Earl of Shrewsfield was killed by him and his mother, both of those slaves
We're listening
being exiled
to
and
some
blessed by the
illustrated
priest, to
version
whom they
of
confessed
Lovecraft.
what they dared not repeat to the world. These myths and ballads, typical as they were of crude superstition, repelled me greatly. The persistence and their
It's not
application
horrible.
to so long a line of my
Yeah, no.
ancestors
Hey, Cost.
was
Sorry, my chat was
especially
disconnected.
annoying, whilst the imputations
Feels
of monstrous
bad, man.
habits proved unpleasantly reminiscent of the one known scandal of my immediate forebears, the case of my cousin, young
How are you
Randall
doing today?
or Colfax, who
And
went
as I
among the
just
Negroes
explained,
in the
yes,
name of voodoo priest after
still
he
my
was
goal,
in the Mexican
even though
War.
I needed 1 hour
I was
now
much less disturbed
to
by the
actually get
vague
out of the
tales
swamps.
wails and howlings
Even though we had only 2
wind
quests
swept
left there.
valley beneath the limestone cliff,
Feels
of the
horrible,
graveyard
man.
stenches after the spring
Should
rains,
almost...
of the
I should
flounders
almost
squealing
skip
white
out
thing
on
which Sir John Clay's
what I'm
horse
about to
had
do.
trod on one night in a lonely field,
But I'm still gonna do it.
and of the servant who had gone mad at what he saw in the priory in the full light of day.
Oh, let me guess,
These
they have
things
already
were
killed
hackneyed,
the gods.
spectral lore, and I was at the time a pronounced skeptic. The accounts of vanished peasants were less to be dismissed.
Well, that's
though
not a lot of
especially
mana that I've
significant
taken from
in
that.
view of medieval customs.
I
Prying
have to
curiosity
raise my
meant
volume a
death,
bit. Okay, yeah,
and
like
more than
normally
one
it
severed
should
head had been
actually
publicly
come up
shown on the
so
bastion
that you can hear what it
now
is
faced
talking about.
around Exham
If
Priory.
I'm not talking over it.
A few of the tales were exceedingly picturesque, and made
But I
me
thought,
wish
you know,
to
like,
learn more of the comparative
recently,
mythology of the
with, you
There
know,
was,
with
for
my
instance,
streams being
the
so
belief
slow,
that a legion of bat-winged devils
especially
kept
like in the
witches
first
south
2 to
each
3
night
hours that
prior.
nobody is around and I'm just
A
talking to
legion whose
myself.
sustenance might explain the disproportionate abundance of
I would
coarse
actually then
vegetables
like to
harvested
listen
in
to
the vast
something
garden.
myself.
And, most vivid
Um,
of all,
You
there
know,
was
because
the
I
dramatic
want to be
epic
on. I
of
want to
Lula,
actually stream
the scampering army
the Deathless
of
Run
obscene
experience,
vermin which had burst forth from the
but I
castle
do
3
not,
months after the
you know,
tragedy
like
that
it
doomed
costs
the
energy to
desertion.
talk to yourself for
The
hours
lean,
on end
filthy, ravenous
with nobody
army
there,
which
and
had
that just
swept
takes my
all
energy
before
away.
and devoured
So
fowl,
I would like to
cats,
stream. I would like to
dogs,
play.
sheep, and even
but then I
two
don't,
hapless human
you know,
beings
when
are
I have
both
nothing
furious.
else to say, that I can
Around
just
that
also listen to
unforgettable
something
Roman
else,
army,
or
a
you know,
whole
get
separate
some
cycle of myths
impromptu
revolved, which scattered among the
from,
village
you know,
homes
what they are
and
saying,
brought curses and horrors in its train.
just to get something to talk about
Such
myself.
was the lore that assailed me as I pushed to completion.
And
With an
I
elderly
thought,
obstinacy,
listening to a little bit of
the
horror,
work of
everyone,
restoring my
you know, everyone has their
ancestral
opinion
home.
about Lovecraftian
It
horror,
must
right?
not be imagined for a moment
Also
that these
because
tales
he's kind of a
formed my principal psychological
divisive person.
environment. On the other
Um,
hand, I was constantly praised and encouraged.
I thought it was
by
fine.
Captain Norris and the antiquarian
We could
who
also,
surrounded and aided me. When the task was done,
God,
over
I would
2
have
years
to look
after
it up.
its commencement, I
We could
viewed the
also
great
listen
rooms,
to some Junji
flame-shotted
Ito,
walls,
because I'm
vaulted
pretty
ceilings,
sure I have listened
mullioned
to...
windows, and a broad
Well,
staircase
it is
with
more of a
pride, which
listening
fully
and viewing
compensated for the
experience, but
prodigious
there's a
expense
channel
of
that
the
has done
restoration.
the Uzumaki
Every
series from
attribute of
Junji
the Middle
Ito,
Ages was cunningly reproduced, and
with
the new
animated
font blended
visuals
perfectly
from
with
the manga
original
series,
walls
right?
and foundation.
And
The seat of my
my
father
God,
was
what are you
complete,
carrying?
and
Look
I
at this.
looked forward to redeeming at last
It is
the
giant.
local fame of the line which ended in me.
That looked much bigger on the
I
other.
would reside here permanently and prove that
On the
a
other
Delacour,
perspective.
for I had adopted again the original spelling of the name,
Okay.
needed not be
But
a
yeah,
fiend.
good. As long as my chat is connected
My
now.
comfort was perhaps augmented
How
by
are
the
you
fact
doing, my
that
dude?
although
How long?
Priory
When
was
have you
medievally
written the
finished,
text? How,
its interior was in
how
truth
long have I not
wholly
been
new and free
looking
from
at
old
it?
vermin and old ghosts
I'm so
alike.
sorry.
As I have said, I moved in on July 16th, 1923.
Like I said, it's just
My household
I'm reading over my
of
phone,
7
and
servants and 9 cats.
as it is
of
the end
which
of the
latter
month, I don't
species
have
I
any
am
data volume
particularly
left,
fond
so
of. My eldest cat was 7
It's
years
running on
old
50
and come
kilobits.
with me from my home in Bolton, Massachusetts. The
If it
others
literally
I
ran on
accumulated
100, it
whilst
would be
living
good
with
enough.
Captain Norris's family during the restoration of the priory.
around 2
5
minutes. Okay,
days,
good.
our routine procedure
I'm
was
still
to
feeling
practice
bad, but
the
at
same.
least not
My
too
time
long.
being spent mostly in the codification of old family
But yeah,
tales.
thanks for coming back, dude. I do
I have
appreciate
now
that.
obtained some very circumstantial accounts of the final tragedy and flight of Walter de la Poer,
I've had
which I
a hard day at the
conceive to be
factory
probable
today.
contents of the hereditary
So
papers
I need
lost
to
by the fire
unwind.
at Carfax.
Playing a
It
little
appeared that
bit,
my
smashing something a
ancestor
little
was
bit, and
accused,
they are
with
not
much reason,
cooperative.
of having
Like,
killed
look at how
all the
little
other
damage I'm
members
actually
of his
doing.
household,
That
except
is why I
4
said
servant confederates,
I'm almost
and
like,
Nestle
I wanna,
about 2 weeks
I
after a
almost wanna
shocking
skip out on it.
discovery, which changed his whole demeanor.
but it's fine.
But
Also,
which
as long
set
as he is
by
staying
implication, he
all the
disclosed
way
to
back
no
here. He
one
is
save
actually quite
perhaps the
gruesome if you look at
servants
him.
who assisted him,
Look at this.
and afterwards fled beyond
He is
reach.
like,
This deliberate slaughter, which included a father,
not
3
Knight
brothers,
Rider, he
and
is
2
like,
sisters, was largely condoned by the villagers, and so
what is
slackly
the
treated
Nicolas
by the
Cage
law
movie one?
that its perpetrator escaped honored, unharmed, and
Where
undisguised
he's a
to
skeleton
Virginia.
riding on
The general whispered sentiment being
motorbike.
that he had purged the land of an immemorial curse.
some daredevil thing,
What discovery had prompted an act
and
so
of course he's
terrible,
running away.
I could scarcely even conjecture.
Yeah, like
Walter
if
de
I
la
could
Poer
smash
must
them,
have
right?
known for years the sinister
But
tales
look at
about
that
his family,
fucking damage that I'm
so that
doing to
this
them. I have
material
no
could have
idea why
given
my
me no
damage is
fresh
so
impulse.
small. Like,
Had he,
you know,
then,
I
witnessed
guess I
some
just
appalling
literally
ancient rite,
took too
or
much
stumbled upon
from
some frightful and revealing symbol in the priory or its
the life
vicinity.
leech and
He was reputed to have been a
energy
shy,
drain
gentle
damage and
youth
such
in England.
that
In Virginia, he seemed not so much
I have
hard or
not been
bitter as
used
harassed
for
and
to the undead
apprehensive.
anymore.
He was spoken
Because
of in the
ghosts are not
diary
a
of another
problem.
gentleman
Ghosts I'm
adventurer,
just
Francis
fine with,
Harley of
but
Bellevue, as a man of unexampled justice.
this is
honor,
just
and
gruesome.
delicacy.
Ghost Rider, yes.
On July 22nd, occurred
Ghost
the
Rider is a
first
Marvel
instance
thing, right?
which, though lightly dismissed at the time, takes on a preternatural significance
So let's see if I
in
can.
relation
No,
to later
okay.
events.
Damn.
It was so
I wanted to
simple as
get
be
behind him,
almost negligible, and could
so
not
that he doesn't
possibly have
actually
been
run into
noticed
new stuff.
under the circumstances. For it must be recalled that since I was in a
There we
building
go.
particularly fresh,
So now we
and
can
new
actually
except for the
get him
walls,
into another
and
corner of the
surrounded
map
by a
so that we
well-balanced
don't
staff
have
of
to go
servants,
up here
apprehension
and actually fight
could have
him
been
as you are
absurd
supposed to,
despite
because he will
locality.
always kite back in there.
What I
And then you have to
afterward
actually,
remembered was merely this,
you know, interact
that
with
my
the
old
mechanics of
black
it
cat, whose moods I knew
while he's
so
in there.
well,
Like, I will still
was
go there
undoubtedly
because there's the
alert
chest of him,
and anxious to an
obviously,
extent
but
wholly out of
we are
keeping
just,
with his
you
natural
know,
character.
Theophrastus
He
the Plump.
roved from room to
We're
room,
just gonna get him into
restless and disturbed,
a lonely
and sniffed
corner.
constantly about the
See, I did
walls
not
which formed
actually
part
get
of
him
the old
to...
Gothic structure.
With my Shadow
I
Strike, I did
realized
not stun
how
him.
bright this sounds, like the inevitable dog in
See,
the
those are
ghost
just
story,
pro
which always
strats.
growls before his master sees the shadow
Lithe,
figure.
I mean, yeah, that's
Yet,
not
I
horrible to
cannot
get.
consistently suppress it.
Suit of Glade is...
The following day,
So
the
what we have
servant
basically
complained of
gotten from him is
restlessness amongst all the
less
cats
damage
in the
from
house.
beasts.
He
And like I
came to
said,
me in
we
my
do have
study,
the
a
hydrogen,
lofty west room on second
hydro,
story, with drawing
hydrodon
parchments,
height.
black oak paneling, and a
Don't
triple
forget to
Gothic
hydrate.
window overlooking
But
the
with this we have
limestone cliff
minus
in desolate
70, and
valley.
then with this one we would
And
have
even as he
minus
spoke,
80%
I saw
damage
the
from
deadly
the
form
from
creeping along
beasts.
the west wall
And Cerberus is a
scratching
beast.
at the new
So
panels which overlaid the ancient
theoretically,
stone. I told the man that
theoretically
there
I
must
could
be some
actually
similar odor or emanation
have
from the
minus
old
80%
stonework,
damage from beasts that I
imperceptible
could
to
get
human
into
senses,
the fight.
but affecting the delicate organs of cats even through the
That's
new
that's
woodwork.
very interesting equipment.
I
I've never
truly
seen
believed, and
one
when the
monster
fellow
actually
suggested the
drop
presence
2 of the
mice or
glades,
rats,
or 2
I
of
mentioned
anything,
that
right?
there had
That
been no
that is
rats
the
there
same.
for 300 years,
That's
and that even the
very
field
considerate
mice
of
the
him.
surrounding country could hardly be found in these high walls.
Also, this one
where
is
they had
what I
never
was
been
wearing
known to
beforehand,
stray.
before, you know, bleeding
That
and
afternoon, I called
poison.
on Captain Norris, and he assured me that it
And
would
obviously
be
it's
quite
hard for me
incredible
to swap it
field
out,
mice to infest
but
the priory in such a sudden
it is not that
and
horrible if I don't need to bleed,
unprecedented fashion.
because otherwise this is
That
now
night,
500
dispensing
extra
as
health.
usual with a valet, I retired in the west
So
tower
it
chamber, which I had
might
chosen as
actually
my own,
almost be that I'm
reached
gonna
from
put
the
this
study
on
by stone staircase
if I'm
and
fighting
short gallery.
Cerberus,
The former partly ancient,
just because
the
you know
latter
the minus
entirely
beast
restored.
damage
This
might
room
actually
was
be worth it
circular,
to
very
get a little
high,
bit
and
less
without wainscoting, being
less
hung with
poison.
arrows which I had myself chosen in London. Seeing that my cat was with
But those
me,
are also
I
pro
shut
strats
the
and they
heavy
don't have to
Gothic
be used.
doors
Yeah, and
retired
see,
by the
now
light
you
of
have
the electric
a
bulb,
second hero
which so
monster here,
cleverly
so
counted for
in
these
general you
candles.
don't really want to
Finally,
fight
switching
the
off
other
the
hero
light and
monster
sinking onto the car
in the
and
same room.
canopied four-poster with the
It's
venerable
not
cat
that
in its
difficult.
custom
Like
place
it's
across my
difficult if
feet.
you're taking too
I
much
did
damage
not
and such,
draw the
but
curtains, but gazed out at the
for me
narrow
it's just a
north
problem
window
that I
which
can't
faced.
leech from them,
There
right?
was
So
a suspicion of aurora in the sky, and
It's
the
not
delicate
like-
traceries of the windows were pleasant.
it's not like I have to be too afraid.
Some time I must
I'm
have
actually
fallen
very
quietly
happy,
asleep,
as you can see here,
for I
like,
recall
yes,
a
I do have to
distinct
take
sense of
potions and
leading
such,
strange dreams
but if you're
when the
actually
cat
looking at it
started violently from its
for how
placid
much
position.
is smashing me
I saw
and
him
that I
in faint
don't
oval
have
glow,
the
head strained
avoid
forward,
projectiles
4
anymore on
feet
my build,
ankles, and
or,
hind feet
you know,
stretched
a
behind.
lot less than I would
He was
want.
looking
This
intensely at a point
is
in the
not too
wall
much
somewhat
damage,
west of the
so,
window,
like, I mean,
point which
close
my
ranged
eye had
lances,
never marked.
they are
The
a
point
much
at
bigger
which
problem
all
for
my
me,
attention was now distracted.
but still, if,
And as I watched,
you know,
I
that many
knew
monsters attacking me is just
that
doing that
my
much
cat
damage, I know I'm not gonna
was
get
not vainly
completely
excited.
murdered if something catches up to
Whether
me.
errors actually
So the
moved,
killing
I
might be
cannot
slow,
say.
but for a
I think
deathless
it
run,
did,
you know,
very slightly.
I'm just fine with it.
But what I can swear to is that behind it I heard a low,
Yeah,
distinct
and
stirring
as
as
I
of
said,
rats
like
or mice.
the reason that I'm
In a
actually
moment,
not
the cat
able
had jumped
to,
bodily on the screening tapestry,
you know
bringing
what,
the
we,
affected
as
section of
long
the
as I
floor
have
with
you
his
to
weight,
talk with, as long
exposing
as
a
you are
damp,
here,
ancient wall of
I
stone,
might
patched
just as
here
well
and there
get
by the rest.
some music on, right? Because it is annoying when two people talk at the same time. Do I have maybe some good Ask Lovecraft naming cats? What is that? I don't know. But yeah, what we are listening to is this. But I'm gonna get some music on. Some medieval music. I mean, if we are already in the ruins, I might as well. Like, it's topical. But yeah, as I said, probably part of the reason why I'm doing so little damage is because against the other monsters, I'm just leeching so much life by now that I'm actually kind of just taking it. Also, here's also a Death Chill aura, which is why I was so slow. Which is exactly why I don't like this. Isn't it an American light? Yes, Lovecraft was a 19th century, well, end of 19th century, to the 20th century. I think from Chicago, if I'm not completely mistaken. Might be that he, maybe he moved to Chicago because he was unhappy with where he was. But yeah, the horror writer. See, I don't like slowdown resistance. Shadow resistance would also be interesting. I don't like the slowdown resistance because obviously, as said, the other monster here had the Death Chill aura, and the Death Chill aura is minus total speed. So it is constantly refreshing the minus total speed on me and slows me down. But the slowdown resistance, of which I do have almost 1/3, reduces only the duration of the speed of reductions on the player. But it doesn't actually reduce the actual speed reduction. So I still have to take the full, the full punishment, even though I do have resistance against slowdown. So I would much rather have it like Providence, Rhode Island. Okay, nice. But I actually thought he moved because he was with his first wife, which was rich. But obviously they did not love each other. And then I thought before he became completely poor and alone, he actually moved in somewhere else, like with his mother or something. But yeah, I mean, Rhode Island was close. Close enough for me. For my half lollish. I'm gonna run through here. They have also killed all of the guards. That's nice. Very nice of them. But give me my potion. Ah, goddammit. We can just let the guards handle this. I'm gonna save some citizens. The Keras also, they have a lot of bows. Like I said, I don't have the avoid projectiles anymore. From them I can actually leech. So that should be a little bit better. But also they have a lot of bows and they have a lot of spears. So the Keras are actually kind of an issue. And I wish I had... I wish I had inventory space. I'm not even quite sure what I'm gonna do with this, that I'm just gonna sell some blues. I have nothing that I really can give up, but I also don't have fun if I don't have inventory space, and in Solar Self-Found I just don't have a way of actually getting that. Yeah, let's get rid of this now. I guess the Lionheart I could also get rid of, but that's a relatively good find. It also obviously is not good that I'm constantly buying something. Curative of Feasting, that's also not... Of Guile, another one. So we are getting closer. We have already an affix to the Guile. So that's... We are approaching something useful. But yeah, I could make so much money around here because they have so many items that they are dropping, as you can see here. But unfortunately, I'm basically already full. But yeah, you can see, like, I'm basically healing through most of the damage if I'm actually putting it on multiple ones there. And, you know, that ability is then also working with the life drain. That is usually not with the undead. Is then also not working, so... some Griefs and some Suit, there we go. And then I could walk back again. And actually get that sold, and then... I mean, I'm gonna go back a second time so that we can get rid of some of the relics that I found and charms. For medieval music, this does not sound much medieval, right? This sounds more like a weird happy birthday rendition. Too bad he died too young, only 46. I think it's probably not that bad because he was apparently not a very happy fellow. And well, for one, like I said, he did die very unpopular to his lifetime, but also his ideology then, you know, like how it only gets worse when the person actually gets older. I think that is what would have happened with him as well, that it's probably not so horrible that he died young, because it would have just gotten worse and shown in his writing as well. So now he is hailed as a great father of horror, and his works are actually usable. Okay, we are gonna get the 50 million. I'm very much hoping for that. Which one am I gonna take? I'm wondering. You maybe. They usually here in Rhodes they do have relatively nice items. So if you're coming around, Act 4 vendors, usually one of my favorites to actually farm. Wow, so we did not even finish anything. Let's just pretend. Let's just pretend that I'm probably gonna get rid of something like this. We will find out. But all of this stuff, like, look at this. This is something that I can't really get rid of, or, you know, very little. This one. Very little around that I really want to get rid of. That, like, maybe something like this, because the Arm Gods of Valhalla. This is basically just the Transcendence. With the normal Valhalla, you know, minus giants and I guess like slowdown resistance or something. Or freeze and slowdown that it has. Like it is worth it for a lot of things, but just like with this one, at least I would have enough bleeding and poison. The life leech I don't really need. And then we would have, you know, slow. I can use reduced freeze duration, which is actually super stupid, by the way. Obviously, I went off on that yesterday at the end of the stream again. But, you know, there's a freeze duration which reduces the duration of freezing effects on the players. But then the buff against it is called reduced freeze duration. Why is it not just freeze resistance like everything else in the game? You know, slowdown resistance, it's called slow resistance. Like, you know, close enough. But reduced freeze duration is kind of like, isn't that something different from freeze resistance? Well, not if I look in the tooltip explanation. It isn't. But yeah. Good enough, I guess. I mean, I guess I can get rid of this one now as well. Fire and cold, we don't need the fire anymore so much. Still, this one is like... I mean, I guess if this had life, right? That's what I was looking for. Resistant with life would be... would be kind of something that I just naturally... would equip or would like to equip. Here, take this, and you take that.
Your goods are safe with me. Must be fearless.
Okay. Well, we have a little bit of inventory space, and like I said, something like that Like this one I really don't want to get rid of because, you know, it's a monster infrequent with an actually rare suffix to it. So I really don't want to get rid of that. Just, you know, if if I would have found this one with the mammoth then. My god. But okay, so I gotta move on because we are already slow enough. At least we're gonna get the Beast of Legends. That is definitely what we're gonna get today. So we are gonna get, what is it? Strength? Some strength at least. Okay, see, I could at least take up some items. And we're gonna get another level up, so... Yes, go my sheep. Don't be afraid, I guide you towards your heaven. Well, can you stop? This was such a nice scene. Okay. Now.
Thank you for helping with our plans.
Now they are dying over
I
here.
will- That is all of them.
Okay, thank you very much for the jewel. That is a horrible quest reward. In the beginning I got one quest reward that was actually worthwhile. Some blue attack item. But since then I have not gotten any quest reward that would have actually been doing anything. So up here we obviously want to look for Admetus. If you don't trigger the Admetus quest here, I'm not quite sure how well you know the game. But you know, if you don't trigger Admetus here, you can't actually free him afterwards, and if you don't free him, then he's not in the tower.
I thought I could do it alone.
So better do it now. And yeah, I just had it to get the supplies back to Epirus. When did I keep gear for undead and demon for this next part? Well, as you could see, my my relic vault and everything in my vault is already full. So, like, I mean, we have slain a lot of monsters, so I already found a lot of stuff that actually is kind of interesting. Unfortunately. If I was really evil... See, oh, this one. Health and life leech. Can I actually... we had a better one. We had a lower version of this, right? So life leech and intelligence. Oh, and life leech and life. There we go. We had sanguine or vitality. So I can get bloodthirsty of permanence. Upgrade. Nice. Just filling up the same inventory spot. But it is still an upgrade. Also him.
The survivors may be safe. We will
That was a nice touch, by the way, with this guy, with the storyteller that is actually telling your story as the hero of Mount Olympus that slew Typhon. Yeah, right. Although the Admetus quest is also not gonna give you great quest rewards, but you know, it's at least a little bit something. Like, you don't have to go much out of your way to trigger it. So, for that it is good enough quest rewards. And, you know, it's a happy end. I actually like it that there's a one that, you know, follows an actual storyline. Throughout the act. Wait, are you really going that? But wait, what? Which turn did I take here? My god, that is completely wrong. I was actually thinking that I could go around here. But I went one too far. Follow the monsters, it can't be that difficult. And yeah, I'm almost like a, you know, the Keras, they're so annoying. I mean, I kind of find that basically everything in Act 4 is kind of annoying to kill. Because obviously they are running away from you constantly. I'm almost like, you know, some of them we can let stand and live, because, I mean... As long as they don't have any good items. Here, can I actually heal them up? Is that not a thing? Oh, so sad. See, the guards, they just want to die. I mean, obviously you can't code that, but... they have nothing better to do than to die. Just leave them alone. There's a perfectly fine shrine around here, dudes. You could do this without any issues. Yeah, come, like, get the Keras here. The Shield of the Hideous Visage. Well, I was actually thinking that we are gonna find this at some point. I mean, another bone pile, another legendary item. I just don't find legendary items out of majestic chests. Literally all of our, like, out of our 6 items that we have now found, our 6 legendaries, we have found 5 of them in bone piles. But yeah, PS resistance, fire resistance, shield blocker, so far so good. Because it has defensive ability, health, and physical damage. I was actually looking at that before, and because, you know, like I said, Hideous Visage is an easy find and has relatively good stats for blocking. But yeah, this one is just not worth it. Like, it is literally just not worth it, unfortunately. But it does have 50% chance for, you know, petrify or slow. So, with a shield bash, that is not too horrible. But otherwise, this one is one to sell. Because, like I said, I don't know any build that actually needs the Hideous. There's also the Gluttonous one. That one is actually a little bit more interesting because it has one of the highest life leech retaliations. So if you go with a life leech retaliation build to stay alive, then, well, it is a shield. You need a shield anyways, and you're gonna get a very good one. Although there is life leech retaliation on the Archimedes Mirror relic in the completion bonuses. Or it should be. See, this one I'm just like, nah. They're just too annoying to actually, for me to care about, so I don't think... I mean, at least they are not running away around here, but, you know, like, going for singular groups, it's just too slow. I probably just need to clear them out like that. And hey, more guards, perfect. Perfect to die for. So stupid. But yeah, we are gonna clear those out here. Not because of the guards that we want to save. Not really, at least. I mean, it's nice to have them around. Like I said, I like to save the guards or any kind of NPCs if I can. But they're really trying their hardest to get themselves killed in in every kind of difficulty, but at least in Legendary it's a little bit easier because they have more life. And maybe some better armor. See, at least I do have a lot of AoE, stun, petrify, whatever, to interrupt them. So, like, Dream Master is kind of made just to save the NPCs. And yeah, now we have all of the life leech resistance, and we have all of the vitality damage resistance. So that's what we are going with right now. So yeah, this guy is kind of the real boss. You want some resistances, like for example the energy leech, just so that because you're taking damage on energy leech as well. But as you can see, I'm actually healing up from this one. But still, the the attack that it casts, that it is actually the deadliest attack that it has, It's kind of the same with the Soul Stone Wielder. And there it is also really deadly. But with the Soulstone one, it appears that it actually has more time to get out of it, but it will hit harder. With this one, it seems almost like I can't get out of it without taking, without it taking some of my mana. But at least it's not that strong in terms of damage. But you should still, with this one, be a little bit careful that you're running out of it as quick as possible, because, you know, it will not take all of your mana. The one with the Soul Stone will, the moment that it actually activates on you and you are not stepping out of it to actually dodge it completely, it will just drain all of your mana. Even if you then step out of it afterwards, it will just take everything and also do the damage for it. Yeah, again, I don't think that it is worth it to go for all of those small carries here. It's a little bit of XP that I'm just letting lay around, but does not look interesting either, right? Yeah, I just can't one-shot anything anymore, so... I mean, this build was never meant to be a one-shot build either. But at some point when I'm gonna get all of the equipment that I want, then I'll have amazing stats and I'll have some plus 70% physical damage and more life leech and more electrical burn, and then you're gonna see. Well, and I will have an actual weapon. Because like I said, we are kind of lapping our weapon find, our folk here. That is still from the normal difficulty Act 4. And now we are in Epic Act 4. This next part is one of my favorites, this DS to hardest. Yes, I actually think so as well. Because it also with the shift in camera that it actually shows you so much. Like this is almost too short. But yeah, like I totally agree with you. This is also one of those like most memorable parts, because at first I was not even quite sure what just happened, because I just could not interpret it. But you know, when you actually, oh yeah, now I'm in hardest, and that's actually the passage that, you know, you're becoming aware of what just happened. It actually feels really satisfying. Like also the lead up to it with there being more and more ghosts, and you know, like that's where they're actually going. Definitely agree with you. And hey, Bottle, what are you screaming about? Dude. Oh god, has my chat disconnected again? Have I been ignoring you for 5 minutes? Where did you vanish to yesterday? But yeah, Chaos Fetish. As you can see, this is something that Plunk would actually need. Oh, I can actually take it. This is something that Plunk would need with fire damage and lightning damage and volcanic orb. I do demand more of just about everything. What are you supporting? What? I'm not quite sure if I can interpret that message. What are you actually playing to? But yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Have a good meal. Also, as you can see, all of my energy was taken away, so I have to actually refresh my buffs. I'm not quite sure if that is really needed from the game. If that is the best way to actually do it. Because, you know, normally just because my energy is taken away. Should not mean that my auras also go away. Especially because there is those aura interrupts that we just came out of with the Warliches. Or Warlocks that, you know, can interrupt your auras freely. I mean, my buffs are a hugely important part of this build, right? Also, hey, Karis. I don't know why the Karis hero has actually so many wisps, by the way. Like, he can... he's the only monster in the game. I'm not quite sure, maybe they are something different, but like they are called storm wisps. Yeah, exactly. Like, he can have multiple storm wisps, up to 3 storm wisps. Just think if he actually got the buffs from them as well. What would actually happen? And also they, as you could see, they follow me. Like, for some reason on them it is not working that I'm not, you know, with the Shadow Strike, I should normally be not targetable anymore. But the Storm Wisp AI, for some reason, is on top of you at all times once it has, you know, been cast on you. Like, almost like as a pet from the monsters. It will actually sit on top of you and you can't go invisible for it. Which I'm guessing is a bug, not a feature. But yeah. Overall, this part though is very chill, I find, because, you know, overall I find the monsters here a lot more chill than in a lot of other places of this act. Like, the last part with all of the Machais and obviously the tower, that's mostly annoying, I find. And, you know, after this, where you are running through the lost city and you have to find your way through it, it's more annoying than anything else. I actually enjoyed this part a great deal. Okay, hey, we are taking no damage again. Okay, oh no, because it is the Master Shrine, yeah. That's actually super useful for me, because now I have my plus 50% damage to the undead again. So I can make the absolutely best use of all of the extra damage. Yeah, I'm not quite so sure I'm actually interested in killing them. I don't really particularly think so. Big battle versus death coming. Well, I mean, I'm kind of battling death already this whole game, right? It just hasn't come close to me, but I'm also trying to have it stay away from me as much as possible. Oh my god. Did we actually one-shot them with the life drain and resistance down? I actually think I one-shot them. Yeah, this is actually hugely effective. We're coming up to our level up as well, so I'm kind of wondering which one we are gonna take next. But I think we are probably gonna go with the soul drain. Just as you can see, like, you know, more healing, more damage. It even works on this one. Because he is actually, like, normally those guys are very hard to actually stun for a longer amount of time. They're more in, like, petrify stuff. Okay.
You have freed me.
I have.
Can I go on while others suffer? No.
Normally he's sliding across the floor
Until the way is clear for all the demons in
when you interrupt him walking.
Your inventory is full.
And I expected nothing less than that. Okay. Let's go back again. I mean, yeah, for one that. For the other, they could actually have rare items that you're just not seeing. Like, I'm just going by what is visible, but if they're having amulets or whatever, then I'm not gonna see it, obviously. So, And then there's also the psychological component of it. That I'm actually leaving the monsters behind, because I've been lamenting that there was monsters that were just running past me because they have triggered to something else and then have to come back to me. When you are actually just running past an opponent trying to kill you and just completely ignore him, that's actually feeling horrible. Like a little bit more respect, please. So I know, it's not the nicest of me. I'm a hero after all. I should interact with all of the monsters and kill them personally. Not leave them to some NPCs. Like as if the NPCs are gonna kill anything. But I mean, sometimes they do. Sometimes they do, and mostly when they do, they are stealing from you. Also, if you find a good one of this with the pale ones, they can have some monster frequencies that are worth it as well. Overall, the Formicids they are one of my favorite enemy types because they are weak against anything. Anything and everything. Oh, let me... There we go. Yeah, I find them really nice to slay. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, I find the undead, when you do have damage against them, also super satisfying. For some reason, Care doesn't like the undead. I find them one of the most satisfying to actually kill. Because when there's like 10 of them around you, that you just blow them up. Because like I said, they are weak. And they are susceptible to a lot of, physical damage and elemental damage especially. And elemental damage mostly comes in AoE. I find that just seeing them fly off everywhere, I find that very satisfying. Obviously the captains, they can hurt. And obviously there's, they can stun you here. So you should not take it for granted that you can just run through here, but, well, I can. Because I'm just the best. No, but like with them, all of my damages, all of my reduction to enemies' health stuff, all of my life leech, that all works in my favor. The blade trap does not take any extra damage from the soul drain. But yeah, overall this is a very satisfying part of the game, I find, like of this act. Because it is also relatively straightforward now. And like I said, it's almost like I will not do now. I will hold off on it and then farm on my own and, not stream that process. But we want to actually get an extra folk. It will suck because we are probably actually gonna do even less damage then. Like at least with our skills. And that is why I'm also going with the soul drain then. So our 5 points. I'm still Division of Death. I'm just not sure what to do with that one. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I could actually take this one and then maybe we could find something out. Maybe that I have the outsider somewhere else when, we just need it as a boss spawn. That I'm gonna have that somewhere else. Maybe instead of a buff. And then I have the Circle of Power on this instead of the outsider, and then instead of the scrolls, I would actually have the Dark Covenant, and that would make it so that I have all of the buttons that I need. But yeah, for the moment, I think I'm just not gonna do that. Also, by the way, the Circle of Power does not gain radius. I find that very annoying. Not quite sure how you see it. Also, that the Circle of Power does have life. so it can actually get smashed. I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, we are probably gonna take the life drain here because, like, yeah, this is basically doing the same thing, just this one is doing more vitality damage. So most likely, I mean, what else would I take otherwise? This one or the temporal rift for more electrical burn damage, and then the petrify. I mean, I could do that. Should we actually put it into the petrify so that I have longer stuns? Yeah, like I won't with the lich. Let's do it like this and see how the damage is then looking. Like, you know, split it up a little bit. Yeah, the electrical burn is not gonna do much for me. But at least it's a little bit of a longer stun. And even with this one, like I said, as nice as it is to have an energy drain, but I'm not gonna drain all of the energy. If anything, I would drain all of the energy with this. But yeah, I don't really need to invest anything more in that. Like, I mean, that will be damage, but, you know, will be damage later on mostly, and right now I just wanted the heal and a little bit more vitality damage, especially because I have the minus resistance, so getting that heal is, I think, good enough. And then we are probably gonna skip out on those 3 levels needed here, and then put in 1 level here. Or maybe already with the next level that I would do that. You know. I'm gonna see about it. Powering up your AoE is a nice idea, yeah. Like I said, it's not so much about the damage in that regard, more about the petrify. Because I wanted longer stuns in between. Although, by the way, the folk, I got that off the stream, so maybe it's a bit sketchy, but I did not have to farm for it. I literally just found it because I did not think that the folk was actually an item that I wanted. You know, some things just come together as you play them. Yeah, that's not so much damage here. Some things just come together as you know, as you play them, and since I did not have to farm for the other folk, usually you actually do find one. There's a lot of troglodytes around here, so, you know, like, not even just around here, but then also going forward. Okay. So, you know, it's nice enough to farm, but normally I should find one random one with just going through here. Well, or not, if the game doesn't want me to. I thought there would be at least a few more here. But for a monster infrequent. Also, farming him is actually also a pretty good idea. Because he is quite... He has one of those special chests, like those orbs. Makes it... Oh. Huh, that's interesting that he doesn't spawn it under me. I actually thought I would have to get away from there. I mean, I can tank it. It's not like I would be dying. Oh. Why this one now? I'm not even standing close to it. Not quite sure, but yeah, like I said, he is actually the ferryman. If you can also kill him a little bit quicker, then he is nice, nice to farm. Like, I actually got one of the best items in the game with this one as well. The Archmage's clasp. And it was actually on the stream.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh my god, Care. Thank you very much for the raid, Care. I do appreciate it. How was the rest of your stream? You don't have to support me, by the way. It's okay. You can go to other people. That's. But I do appreciate it. Yeah, we are just in an epic boss fight. I can guarantee you that you have not seen anything more epic than this. I like every one of the fights that I have here as a war of attrition. Just because I don't do any damage and they don't do any damage to me. Well, it also, I guess, comes with knowing most of the mechanics, so... But yeah, like... I hope I'm getting something good from this one. We demand more rating. Well, I demand an R rating on Twitch. So that people can't come around anymore and tell me that I'm not youth-friendly. It's not about me not being youth-friendly, it's about me not being friendly. You live to sever? Oh, serve, yeah. You know, I'm just gonna imagine you live to sever the heads of people. That's what happens with video games. All of the stigmata is absolutely 100% necessary. What is our youth? What is becoming of our youth? Well, I mean, as much as I can tell. You know, I would talk shit about you, but literally, I think the universe is giving me a call here and telling me that I should be nicer. Otherwise, I'm not getting any loot. We have literally just been getting shit. I mean, I have found... I don't know what is wrong recently. But... but for some reason, out of these 6... by the way. Out of the 6 items, 6 legendaries that I found so far, Chakram of Lawless, Lardon's Maw, and 2 Knave's Will. But also, apart from the amulet that I found. No, actually, we found 7. We found 7 legendaries. So I found the Amulet of Hygge and the Eye of Flame. 2 amulets. So them I found on the monsters. Okay, that's fine. But every one of the other ones I found in bone piles. I don't know what is wrong with the loot, if that is new, but I've not found anything in a chest. But I found 5 legendaries in bone piles. I mean, I appreciated that they've buffed it. If they have, because like it's literally something I said a few years ago, that I would like it if, you know, because the bone piles were literally useless at some point. Like in the TQ, bone piles were basically useless to even open a legendary. So I guess they have listened to me. I'm grateful for it. I would like to find useful items as well, but good enough, close enough. Still, that I in turn then don't find anything in chests, I'm not quite sure. Your wife regarding the word rhyming with Andrew. This conversation is 100 IQ points above me. Okay. Well, Plunk, take it easy. And yes, thank you for the raid. I do appreciate it. Even though... Wait, have you been the only one that actually said something? I'm guessing the other ones are silent. So it's a very silent raid, but everyone who came over from Plunk, welcome as well. I mean, they already know me, so it's not like... Or specifically, they did not come over because they already know me. That's another way to do it. But yeah. No, I do appreciate it. And have fun with your wife. No, wait. What are you doing after the stream normally? I'm guessing going for a jog? No, eating. Right, it's always eating. For some reason, when you ask a streamer what they are doing, it's mostly when they are not streaming, it is eating. I mean, I'm kind of the same. Yeah, workout food. Nice. See, I have been on Twitch longer than literally most of this community. You know. Like, at one point I still remember when I was the new one. But unfortunately, I'm getting older at an accelerated rate from other people. My whole life, by the way. When I was young, I was always too old for everyone in my age group. It's the trauma, thanks, don't worry. Yeah, this is actually doing quite a lot of damage. When they do take vitality damage, when they do not have the oh, I just don't interact with the mechanic because I have 300% resistance against it, or, you know, vitality damage just doesn't work against me. When they do take vitality damage, then the soul drain is actually doing quite a little bit of work. So I think we might buff that just for convenience, because it also hops a little bit over. Although I'm not quite sure, I've not been able to really figure out how it works. Because it seems that only the first one actually gets the first one that the soul drain attaches to is having the soul drain explosion then. But then the life drain still hops over to other targets, as long as they are close by. It is nice though that it is kind of an... Oh, I'm freaking dead in my 30s. I can see that two ways. But yeah. Enjoy your food, enjoy your workout. Hopefully you're gonna get something done. Like I said, I literally have to watch Supernatural panels again. Just because I found some on YouTube yesterday randomly by the algorithm. Because I was watching old stuff from Psych, and I got then suggested the old Supernatural panels again from like Comic-Con and Justin Bello and such. And that was basically back in the day my motivation to actually do some training. And I probably just have to literally watch that again, just so that I can get back in finding motivation to get fit or keep fit. So hopefully you can find that motivation by yourself. By the way, I thought this was a playlist. The druidic fantasy music is... It sounds like it's looping. How about Mystical Forest? At 432 Hertz. Should be better, right? Okay, and like I said, we do want a folk. We do want to get our damage up to at least the level that is appropriate. Like I said, you can literally tell how good it was that I found in normal, that I found the folk. Because we have used it until here. But now I would kind of like to get... if I find the folk, I can literally take it basically again into Act 3 of Legendary. So we would be for a long time decked out. Also, I guess a spear, if I found a good spear, then that would also be just fine. Like, I don't really need it, but it is mostly just about the Thunderclap. You know, just the 1.5 seconds down. Also, with the cooldowns, I obviously do have a 12-second recharge on this, a 16-second recharge on this, so they are fairly long. And then with this one, I have a 6-second recharge, which is super nice because, you know, like 6-second recharge, 8-second recharge, 12 seconds, 16 seconds. So like I'm really a battle mage. There's always in between any attacks. Like it's basically like one spell, one attack, right? And then also obviously works together. But yeah, you can see the jailer here. Super difficult to actually stop with anything, because like he is, I think freeze is the only one that actually works on him. Because like petrify doesn't work on him, stun does not work on him, sleep does not work on him. So the jailers are actually kind of assholes. I mean, I guess that's why they're jailers, but at least did I life leeching numbers, you little vampire. And yeah, like I actually really underestimated. I did not know that I wanted life leech so much, which is also in if I do have a spear or whatever, and I'm actually gonna take something that you know, like I'm gonna take a spear that is
Your inventory is full.
of annihilation, so that one would work. If I take something like that to do more damage, then I would not want one that I can't upgrade with the Bat Fang, because like it's literally only the Bat Fang and it's already doing so much. Like I knew that, okay, I have more life leech anyways because I'm reducing resistances, but that just 90 life leech would actually be such a strong heal, I did not expect, and it became such a big part of what I'm building. By the way, I do have the Ichtin Wampa, which is already, Act 3, and actually really good for Act 3 in terms of base damage, and has 35 physical, so there you go, that would be another one. It also has 2 seconds of stun with an attack thing, that could then obviously spread, or I could possibly put on multiple targets with the Shadow Strike. And obviously has extra strength as well. And attack speed. So like, I mean, that one, I've already basically found one that I could use, but it does not have the special ability. So yeah, I'm just not quite sure yet about it. As you can see with those single monsters, sometimes the folk does not really like to activate. And it also has a lag on it, as you could see there. But yeah, I would rather not compromise on it and try something else, but I would rather, take a little bit of damage loss, but then keep me alive. Like, this does not come in clutch really, but it is a nice extra effect in between, because you can see that even though I'm like, here's a 4.5 second stun, after 2 seconds the monsters are already up again. Come on. Why are you doing this to me, game?
You have no more room.
That I can't take up any potions anymore, that is kind of a problem. Let's go to Styx first, because we want to actually deliver the rudder. Rudder.
You're in my possession. You have pretty markers.
Yay. Okay, number 1, number 2. I mean, there is builds that have already done, life leech stuff, vampire builds, but this game does not really lend itself towards that. Why am I finding only shit, or why am I getting only shit from the quest rewards by now? It feels horrible. And yeah, here we have a kingly one with 124 health regeneration. Pretty solid. Off warding, with, you know, with flat damage, with the cold and reduced freeze duration, and armor protection, 23%. That's pretty solid. Like I said, you know, with this one, I would have 20% armor protection. With this one, 25. With this one, 10%. And then another 23%. So we would actually be at 40, 50, 75, right? So 75% extra. Like, unfortunately, they do not stack. Like, they just add additively, like, you know, 70% then. But still, it's quite a lot. Or even 80%, yeah, they are, yeah, about 25. 25, 25, 50, 60, 80. Okay, fine, 72. 77. God damn it, math is hard. Also, yeah, I ran out of buffs again. God damn it. Now I really have to, like, because if I'm not leeching energy, then I can't sustain my energy anymore with what I have. So now I gotta be really careful that I'm not running out of buffs. I missed it again. We go up here. This place has been such a mystery at another point. And yeah, there's more monsters around to be found now that we have ported back in here. Every time. But yeah, from the legendary beast, I'm gonna get some more few stat points. Like I said, those are very much already planned in. Luckily, my stuff doesn't go on cooldown when I get interrupted. So nice. I remember a time when strength also gave life. That was... those were good times. So we're going out of our way to actually free all of the prisoners that we see. For some reason this one is locked, but not this one. I mean, I guess because of the shade in there. And yeah, you can see, like, he does react to some of the stuns, but not all of them. At least we're taking his energy away so quickly. That is the one nice thing about it. Although, as you could see, his weapon effect does not fade. Like, he still will do lightning damage for some reason. Or at least he makes it seem like he is. But yeah, I mean, I'm the hero. I'm gonna play it like I am a hero. I'm actually gonna free the people. Also, we are so slow. Well, I mean, we, as in me. Maybe it's actually a hard feat to get to the tower. It's already 10 for me. And I still have to eat after this as well, so... Huh. Yeah, he is a quick boy. Look at him. What the heck is this? I almost wanna bet he has like a 35% extra attack speed. What the heck is that thing? He is nimble, I do give it that. He actually has nothing on him. Wow. Imagine him with a 35% extra attack damage. Attack speed. That would have been pretty brutal. But yeah, until we're probably gonna make 2 levels before we find Hades. So I mean, Hades is also in part ghost? In his last form he's a ghost form, right? So wait, so this one is extra damage to demons? Did I not have extra damage to ghosts at some point? I thought I had... oh yeah, there we go. Plus 200% damage to ghosts. Which I'm not quite sure what it... Is this only on the last effect? Or, like, is this only on the soul drain itself? Or does that count then for life drain and cascade as well? I guess I gotta find out. And obviously I'm taking so much damage when they are wielding mayhem here. Also, one of the better chests, one of the better caves around here. Some extra loot. So that you're not constantly just in the swamp. And yeah, something actually took all of my energy away. I'm not quite sure what it was. Why it did that. But now I have to refresh all of my buffs. Like, was it my own cast? Did I literally cast to 0 energy and I'm not regenerating, so it just takes my own buffs away? That would actually be an issue. I mean, right now it's just 1 point that I could just as easily take out again, but I hope not. See, this one did not even get... He was clearly in the thunderclap range. But because there's a lag on it, he ran out from it. But yeah, there's so many levels still. I mean, how many... I don't... Cost, do you know how much... how many levels you're gonna make in Legendary? I think, like, overall in Legendary, you're probably gonna make, like, 5 levels or so. Probably less than that. So I really have to think about what we're going with. Because, like, if it's just 8 more levels, then I'm basically booked for it. I have a hard time fitting in extra stuff. Those are then probably just, you know, like extra damage and such. I guess that is luxury stuff. Let's take that as well. Hup. Give me your life. Yes, literally. It is also so satisfying that you can see when more enemies are affected by your life leech, that you're actually leeching faster. You know, never finished the legendary. Summoner is like 4 legendary, but I got up to trying other builds. Yeah, like, you know, I also find that, like, finishing a build completely... Like, normally I just finish a build and then move on. Like, actually farming for the endgame gear, I usually never really try to do it. And yeah, with him, he actually hits like a truck. Like, yeah, he is actually kind of a... kind of an actual monster. So you know what I might do? Because, like, you can see that he is actually clapping me for 600. If he crits, it's quite an issue. So I can't face tank him. But yeah, 6 points to strength, intelligence, and dexterity, so worth it. It's giving me 6 defensive and offensive ability. But yeah, so basically 12 points in that, which I don't have to give anymore. Very much worth it.
Your inventory is full.
I could have guessed so. And you see what I need the stuns for, right? Because, yeah, we do leech, but if they then continuously hit me with it, then all of my leeching is not doing much for me. Oh, Cestus! That's actually... And another... God damn it. And another one out of a... out of a fucking bone pile. But yeah, Cestus is actually a really great find. Obviously, I don't have the intelligence for it, but yeah, minus recharge. It's not a good minus recharge, but Pierce, elemental resistance, vitality, has health 10%, has energy 10%, has intelligence 10%. So Cestus is actually a really good find. I'm using it with one of my best builds, so should probably tell you something about that. But you know, in that one, I have like minus 15 or minus 17% recharge, so minus 13 is not the best, but that is the best legendary that we have found so far. And it is not... And it looks cool, by the way. Like, Cestus actually looks pretty damn cool. Faye always says, always loot bone files. Yeah, but like I said, they changed it. Like, in Titan Quest, in normal Immortal Throne, I have not found shit in, like, literally, I think with all of my builds, and obviously in IT I have actually then found, or I've played a lot more, I have not found more than 1 or 2 items that are usable from bone chests. So I have no opinion about them at all. But now it's basically all of them, so... I'm not quite sure what to think about it. It's nice that they've buffed it, apparently, or maybe it's just a really weird coincidence. But yeah, bone piles. I mean, you can literally, like, when you have a good build, you just run up. Like, I mean, the most you're gonna make is still from farming, right? So, like, it's not that I'm just gonna run around and loot bone piles. Like, if they are on the way, obviously I'm doing it anyways. But I'm not gonna go and run around and just take the bone piles. But if you are, you know, sick of actually having a boss run after boss run after boss run, and you just want to play the game a little bit and smash some actual monsters with it, because, you know, otherwise you just... Unfortunately, in this game, there's not too much to do. Which in, like, for the end game, which obviously they wanted to counter with the Tartarus, and that, you know, there's an actual reason why you want to get into the end game. I'm not so much of a fan of how you know, how Tartarus is right now, but as it was before, and you literally just build builds to do boss runs, because there was just nothing else that you needed it for. Like, maybe, yeah, you farm a monster infrequent, but there was nothing more than that you could do. And then obviously it comes with the, with the kind of limitation then that, yeah, I'm building a build that is just for bosses. Why would I build something balanced, right? Like I just need a monster smasher for a boss fight where it's probably one-on-one. Why do I need AoE, or why do I need certain resistances if I'm literally just going up against like 1 or 2 monsters for all of the end game and farm for the end game gear? Like I said, Tartarus is not very good at countering that, but at least there is also now some other bosses that come in, like you can actually farm Tartarus as well. So if you want to make a full boss run, but it's still just bosses. So, but yeah, like at least a little bit more variety. I would wish for even more. We'll see where it actually develops itself into. What? Give me that. I want my get out of jail or get out of the hulks surrounding me and smashing me.
Your inventory is
Free card.
Your inventory is full.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want it to be. I really would want it not to be. God damn it. Like Cestus, I'm definitely gonna keep because I want an extra Cestus. It is so good of an item that one, like I will get rid of the visage, I'm guessing, of the hideous visage, because that one is not something that I would ever really use. Oh, by the way, around here, you can actually sometimes glitch yourself out here, and like if you're missing the ledge here, I'm just not quite sure if I'm able to do it, but yeah, this is really clunky, and sometimes you can fall off the ledge. You will not die or anything, but you're literally just standing in this black nowhere, and there's a little bit of as you can see, there's a little bit of a ledge, so you can actually walk up to here from all the way over there, which obviously you don't see right now. But yeah, like as you can see, I'm not quite sure how to do this consistently. But you can fall through. Probably if I had a little bit of longer, like if I was like on for 5 hours now, maybe there's like some overflow issue or whatever that it just can't get to it right away. And then just drops you through the floor. But yeah, you could see this part here, what I said. There's so many monsters that I can actually leech from and whatnot. It is very satisfying. Also, with this one, we are now gonna get the hardest treasure. Because, like I said, in normal, I did not go back to get it. Basically, the way that you do it is in a build with the hardest treasure stuff. You're gonna run through normal. Obviously, you don't have the stones at the first time. Then you are gonna get the stones while you run through normal. And then you're using it, what I'm gonna do now, on epic. And then from there, you farm them in the epic difficulty afterwards. Use them on the legendary difficulty. And from the legendary difficulty, the ones that you get there, you're then gonna use on the normal difficulty door to open it. My god, they're actually doing damage. Feels horrible, man. Like, this is actually almost... this is almost deadly. I almost had my death ward triggered. I'm feeling horrible about it. But it's exactly what I said before, and right, with the Keras, that they are actually an issue. Because they have so much pierce stuff. And I was actually thinking of exactly this place. There's a second one that is coming up, but mostly about this place. that this is sketchy. Like in a no death run, it was almost sketchy of me to go up here. Obviously, like I said, I do have the death ward if needed, but still, I was almost relying on my life leech and such to actually save me, and obviously that is not the case. Oh, come on, game, please. You know, here I'm gonna get the extra XP just so that we have it. Yeah, the next part. Yeah, like when the Makai are coming up. Also more undead. Ugh. But yeah, up to the tower and then from the tower with the Machais, that is gonna be an issue. And it's what I said, like with the Guile, I'll probably have to actually put that on. Like right now, I have enough stun resistance, and you know the energy is fine enough. But unfortunately, my vitality resistance is then relatively low. Maybe that we get the elemental resistance, but otherwise there's nothing good to get with the demon's blood. I'm just not quite sure what to get on this one, but like the avoid projectiles for the demons, for the Machai archers, it's almost needed. It's almost that it is needed. Something with pierce resistance, obviously 45%. That would be also good. And yeah, you can see that I'm already not hitting all of the monsters again, so I need from somewhere, and I don't know where, I will need offensive ability. We've already gotten 6 offensive ability by with the legendary monster, right? I guess 6 is not enough. Of course, my 6 is never enough. What would you say is your rarest item that you have in your position in Titan Quest right now? Like that you actually have found yourself. Also Pi and Azzy. Azzy movie. Also hey. How's it hanging, my dudes? I hope I'm not missing anything here, since this is always like, nah. It's just straightforward as well. Because, as I've said already, I'm a little bit like I do have 2 Aphrodite's favor that I'm using on characters. Finding that will be difficult. And I do have an amulet with 51% intelligence. That was a pretty good find. Apart from that, though, I would say the Archmage's clasps that we found on the ferryman. Alexander Beer and Mace of Polyphemus. Mace of Polyphemus. Don't know which one that would be. Like, obviously the Polyphemus can have multiple options for maces. I, for example, really like the Persephone's. Okay. Yeah. Like, I have not many items in the TQ vault because I've just not been using it ever. I've just been making mule characters, and a lot of my rare items have been lost to the ages because of it. Because, you know, obviously I, you know, re-download for, or like, you know, it got lost with the old computer going up in flames. And, you know, from the original disc. And then downloading from Steam again. Basically a fresh start. So everything I have is basically from the Steam version then. Which, yeah, is like I want to say like 1/3 of the rare items that I have is in there. 2/3 that I've had beforehand. But yeah. It's... So, what are you wearing? Can you please show me? Okay. Nothing. Nothing is the answer. I've just not found a very good... like, I have probably more green items because I'm looking for them more. More interesting green items than I have really actual legendary items. No, I will be gone before the zombie can get me. Oh yeah, no, I'm using TQ Vault, but well, first of all, not on this character, and overall, I just have too many mule characters that that was just the option that I always used, and then never really bothered with it, you know, because it's still a mod, so it's still deviating from what they intended with the base game. That I never felt like I would really wanna go away from that. Can we please? Thank you. Like, I'm much more of an originalist, but yeah, obviously by now I also have the TQ Vault because it's also not like the novelty effect kind of wore off when I saw that they have not such a big plan either with the game. It's not that I have to be very much faithful to the base game idea, because they kind of just figure it out as they go as well. And yeah, there's another 10,000 heal. Awesome. Interesting that the heal is not going on top of the life leech. A Shroud of Care, that is what I actually thought we would find pretty soon, some monster infrequent from the cares, because obviously we found already the from the care witch. We found the staff. So Shroud with pierce resistance, and then it has the Vision of Death, which is then activated on melee, on taking melee damage, right? Which apparently seems to be a correct thing, because like this one activated on attack is not activated on attack, because for example it is activated on damage that I'm doing with my Trance of Wrath. But this one apparently works for the most part as intended. But then I would have, you know, like the Vision of Death, which I'm right now not taking, but it is a level 2 one, as you can see. Like, I mean, it's a really weird level 2 one, because 66% chance for fumble and impaired aim, which this one is level 1 and then has 3 reduced damage. So I'm not quite sure where they are taking this, but yeah, with this one, pierce damage, you know, if you have, like, you know, if you actually have a good version of this, if you find a really rare one, I mean, you really gotta find a rare one there, but you know, otherwise having that is not horrible. It would lend itself to it would be the it would be the 14 seconds, right, from this one with 16 second and this one with 12. So I would have something that triggers on, or that I can cast with 6 seconds, something with 8 seconds, something with 12, with 14, and with 16. So then we would just need to find something with 10-second recharge. Then it really is, yeah. It feels satisfying to put it in. And yes, you get none of it. There's still time. Yes, no, there's not. I'm gonna take all of your treasures. Thank you very much. Let's see, am I gonna find... Oh, we found an Aeon. We actually found something. Nice. See, and that is worth it. Oh. Oh, veterans. Oh, Tunic of Magi. And there you go. That is actually... My god. That is actually something to think about. Because this one does have vitality. Yeah, so now we finally found... we finally found something out of treasure chests. So I'm going back to actually having some good loot. About time. I just don't have any space. Okay, let's get rid of that and then take this. Perfect. No, Tunic of Magi is actually really interesting. As you can see, like, the bleeding is nice. We get 10% more bleeding resistance. We will have 20% more pierce resistance with this. The elemental resistance actually gives me a lot of freedom, because with this one, elemental resistance, then I can take out the helm and instead of the helm put on something else there. I don't know. With this one we would have full pierce resistance as well, so that's kind of interesting. And yeah, vitality resistance. It's actually really good. It also gives me 11% total damage. And all of the defensive ability. So defensive ability, 200 there. That would actually be really nice. But like I said, it's just, the big problem is my intelligence. 400. I don't, well, for one, right now, I can't really get up here. But I mean, I would be close enough, and 400 is not the world. But 400 is not the world. I want strength and dexterity armor. So that, I mean, that's amazing. Like I said, we found the Cestus and we found the Tunic of Magi now. And they are both, like, you know, Pierce, Elemental, Vitality Resistance. Pierce, Elemental, Vitality, and this one has even all of the other stuff. Especially because we found the Amulet of Hygieia. Which is stupid, by the way, in some regard, because the Amulet of Hygieia does not have vitality resistance, and this one has all of the resistances and has vitality resistance. So why does the Amulet of Hygieia not have it? But yeah, like I said, this is actually a really good one. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like I said, I'm not gonna do that right now. I won't have the points for it. And this one, as nice as it would be to get a little bit more strength. But like I said, I don't have the points to actually put into the intelligence. I need strength and dexterity. So unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. But it would be actually a really amazing find. Like, if I wanted to really play Deathless, I would almost then ask myself, isn't it kind of worth it? Because, like, I can actually get rid of so much. Like, even, like, the 40% poison resistance, okay, that one is gonna be then a little bit lower, but I would still be at 60%. I could set myself up with something like this to actually then, like, you know, equip this and then equip a helmet and then put on the helmet the pristine plumage to actually get my bleeding and my poison resistance up to legendary standard, and then have, you know, all of the elemental resistances. We would have still 40% more in fire, and then just need cold and lightning. So yeah, that is actually doing a lot for me. or would do a lot for me. I would also get life leech resistance. So with this right now, I would have all of the life leech together, and we could actually also get rid of the premonition. That is a little bit weird. But yeah. No, I mean, it's a really good find. I'm not gonna complain about it. It's just not something that lends itself now to what I want to do with this build. But for a Deathless challenge, yes, you would be right. I would probably put the points into the Dream Mastery, the last 8 points, and then actually probably get some intelligence as well for it. Nah.
Those precious rings.
Yeah, exactly, precious rings. So with this one, fire, cold, and offensive ability. Like I said, I would actually have a hard time with offensive ability, so I'm almost like, maybe like as a substitute. That's not horrible. But unfortunately with this one, obviously 600 health. But it would not be horrible.
Your patronage is an honor.
Okay, what am I gonna do now? I probably want to first get to roads and actually get some of my relics and such out of the way. This is highly annoying. Like I said, those are already all blues or something like the Revenant Blade, which is super rare. Minus recharge stuff. So I can't really get rid of something out of those there. Like all of the stuff that I have in here, I really kind of want to keep. Maybe this one that I would, like I said, this one would more be a setup for another build, and those two, I guess, I could get rid of. But all of the other stuff are blues. I'm not quite sure how many of those I have. Like, there's nothing that I have too much in here either. Transfer area is also already full with stuff. We have some apple bearer. I guess I could get rid of the large and small and, you know. The Knave's Will, I could also get rid of that probably. Okay, so... There we go. There we are. Yes. Okay, nice. So, oh, hey, actually, we got a lot of cold damage on this one. That's actually not horrible. That is a lot of cold damage. Slower attacks. I mean, also survivability. What did we finish here? Did we finish this one? We did finish. We did finish this one. Health regeneration. Not horrible. Obviously kind of meh compared to the planned one. Like, if you want health regeneration, you're probably not gonna take that. What was the other thing that I finished? Oh yeah, and Cunning of Odysseus with the intelligence. So like I could get 20% more intelligence here and have 13 elemental resistances as well. That's like the highest intelligence build obviously used then the 30% intelligence and then 33 intelligence that you can get as a completed relic bonus. But you know, if you do have 13 or 18 elemental resistance, then you kind of want to use that. Do we have one of those? I can get rid of this. I can get rid of that. Like I said, I don't need all of this. Those I can farm relatively easily. Even the Penclaw, like you know, epic ones. The epic ones are basically not used for much. Like, you know, the formulas, but even there, it's. I would much rather have the normal and the legendary versions, because the normal ones much more used for artifacts, and the legendaries, you know, you can even use on some items.
A real hero.
The magic staff is a
caravan.
well that falls from the soul.
So probably just gonna do this and then wait for something else.
Find strength.
First chest is free. An honor.
A pendant?
Yeah, what did I say? Yeah. The hideous visage. Like I said, I don't need it. It's nice to get 15% physical damage. Like I said, in terms of physical damage, I could have here 21%, 15% there, 35% there. So that would be plus 70% physical damage already. Like, there's ways to actually boost my damage. Just, you know, not really what I can do right now. This one, actually, I'm kind of thinking about it, because, you know, attack damage converted to health, that is the last one that is missing for me. Like, I mean, I basically do have that stat, attack damage converted to health, with the life drain. But yeah, this one would have 100 more life. I mean, the Aeon, you really don't need it for anything, really. Like, I mean, it's one of the worst legendary items that you can find. But, you know, nice enough. Just to be sure that I'm not missing anything. And I hope you're gonna forgive me. It is already 11. Really? Nah, I'm not a fan of the Aeon. It sounds nice, but that's about all it does. I hope you can forgive me that I'm just... We're not gonna get to the tower, I think. I'm gonna get to the city, and then I'll end for today. But like I said, then when I'm at the city, then we're gonna tomorrow, or maybe that I'm gonna play after I eat something, but not on stream. That I'm gonna push for the end. Although I feel like you on the stream you kind of want to see me fight the Machae stuff, right? Because the Machaes, those can actually be sketchy and could actually be dangerous for my build. So if I'm just getting through that and not streaming it, then at the end someone is gonna come around and say, oh, I have not done everything on the stream, maybe I've cheated with my, you know, solo cell phone stuff and whatnot. I was thinking to go to bed as well, yeah. God damn it, work! I will never forgive the one that made you up. What are you working as? If that is okay to ask, like you don't have to answer. It's just such a German thing to ask. What are you working as? But like, it's not really. It's not really that I have to know. Just half courtesy asking, and half interest because, you know, maybe it is something interesting. The Flame Lords and, you know, all of the lords with their arm guards, they always look like such heavy metal things. I mean, I guess if you're a Death Lord, you're kind of metal, but they always look more so than they actually are. But yeah, like maybe it, you know, maybe that I'm farming some demon blood, so I'm maybe tonight playing to the tower and then get to Elysium, like I said, on my own, and then we're gonna do the Machai archers from Elysium on tomorrow on the stream. I'll see how I handle it. Like I said, I like to be more spontaneous. Me in computer engineering, doing web design. So you can help me with my Discord. You can help me create my own website. I mean, there's a shit ton of stuff that I have to do on my... If I really cared to have to work on my Twitch as well. Like, it's such a mess. I always think, like, I should understand more about actually working with, you know... Like, just in general, just being able to understand a lot of code. Because, you know, like, it's just important by what I'm doing that I'm so much on the computer at all. And yeah, we're gonna get from the ashes, from the priestess shade, we are gonna get 2 skill points from her. Which is one of my favorite quests, because you don't have to do much, and it is such a welcome thing to get 2 skill points. I'm probably gonna finish something off with that, with those 2 points. Like, we are about to level up. By the time we are leveling up, we're gonna then get the 2 skill points from her as well. Then I have 5 skill points again. Then I can actually finish up the soul drain, right? And finish that to, you know, for my damage source. Like, because I don't think the soul drain actually does do anything for my health regeneration. Like, all of the leech that I get out of it is, I guess, in the life drain and the cascade, and not in the soul drain. So that one would be really just only for damage. But, you know, something like the demons, if I'm getting... maybe put on something that does extra damage to demons, and then you are leeching 50% life, or, you know, the 50% health decay. And you're doing another 50% extra, so they're basically already dead before you have to approach them.
It's almost as great a reward as getting it.
It is so easy. I made my own forum in the very old days for a mobile game that I was playing, where I had like a clan of 500 people or so. That was fun. I actually really enjoyed doing that. But, you know, it was also, as you say, like, mostly just about it is so easy. You just have to put on the different elements, and like, yeah, just I want this chat to be here. I want another one there. You can cross-reference. Like, you know, there's not much that I did in code. Yeah. The last year I worked to the local olive oil factory. That's nice. Can you say which olive oil? Should I have a preference in which olive oil, which cold pressed one you're gonna recommend to me? The best that Greece has to offer. Where can I, like, I mean, you said you wanted to go to bed as well, but I do want to actually get you maybe, you know, when you're already here and... Oh, Extra Credits is playing VTMB. You know what? I'm gonna raid Extra Credits. It's such a welcome thing to see Extra Credits play VTMB, so we're actually gonna go over there Like normally such a big channel, like I mean they have a million channel on YouTube, but on Twitch, if they have like 20 people in there, I'm gonna... Oh yeah, and Terrified Prinny is also there, just raiding, so that is perfect. Because I also know Terrified Prinny. Raid extra credits. Unfortunately, Cost, you don't have my boxes. I don't want to be that intrusive anyways on on their stream. We're just gonna go over there. I can recommend you extra credits. They are doing lots of interesting stuff. Only basic knowledge that you need to drag and drop. Yeah, like as long as you can work with an interface, it's kind of you know, doing this stuff by itself. My god, Terrified Prinny, 30 people. He was going hardcore on Monster Hunter when I was last in his channel. It's so nice that I'm actually like I know so many people on Twitch that I'm you know, like it's a village. I kinda new to Twitch as well, so I don't know how everything works yet. Oh, don't worry about it. No, I was talking about the raid message with the boxes. That is my tier 1 emote. And you know, if you're not a subscriber, you can't actually post it, so you don't have to worry about it. We're not gonna do a whole raid message thing for it. But yeah, I can recommend you the channel that I'm raiding over to. Anyways, thank you very much, Cost, for hanging out. I do appreciate talking with you, and hopefully then until tomorrow. And tomorrow then hopefully getting through through all of the Machais. Have a good one then. Yeah, thank you very much. No, thank you. See you around. Have a good sleep.